Kohberger allegedly stalked one of the victims. That's false. You knew that was false. For anybody who had never heard that before, that question is now planted into them, unqualified representation that Mr. Kohberger stalked one of the witnesses, and that's false. We do not have evidence that the defendant had direct contact with 1122 or with residents of 1122. But we can put his phone in that area. There are many residences in that area. It's a dense population of mostly college-related occupants.
Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. Good evening, everybody. How's everyone doing? I see we're starting off with gifted memberships. Thank you so much, Miller Time and Carrie, for 10 each. That's 20 gifted memberships. 20 people now have memberships. That's amazing. Thank you so much. That's so fun. Congratulations to those who got those. Yes, I did have y'all play a little bit of Goose Chase for here, just a second. It was not intentional. It really wasn't. I wasn't expecting to do anything other than what I had planned, which was to go over the WSU documents for tomorrow's hearing. But then I got on Twitter and I saw this being talked about, and I sat and I listened to it a little bit, just walking around a little bit with it in the background. And they said some wild stuff. The Goncalves are at CrimeCon, as most of you guys know. CrimeCon is such a joke to me. Like, if you actually follow the paper trail of like where the money goes and how everything is done, it's such a joke. But you know what? I guess some good comes out of it. I don't know. It's not any good done by the actual organization. I'll just say it that way. At least not when it comes to the free labor and everything else they get for this whole thing. And there's usually some drama. As far as I'm understanding, JLR got kicked out. Of course he did. He's always on some stupid shit. Anyway, this is like a 30-minute interview or something like that. And it seems like it was very impromptu. Like they were just sort of in passing. This is that Scott guy from Crime Talk. And he just kind of stops them. They come over and it turns into like a whole like 30-minute thing. Now, it's very performative from Kristi's side. Steve, I feel like he's just lost his mind. He seems like, I feel like I have been in the mental state, or at least like the residual effects of the mental state that I feel like Steve is in here, because he's just sort of like saying things. And it's just kind of just like word vomit all over the place. And I've been in situations to where like I really just couldn't get my point across. And so I felt like I was just like saying all the things everywhere. And I feel like that's sort of like where he's at. And it really just annoys me. Because to this day, as you're going to hear today in big old 2026, he's got serious issues still with this case. But we see him trying to put a protective order on the WSU case, which is going to bring stuff from this case over to that case. It even says it in the damn documents that we were going to go over, which we're going to go ahead and go live a little bit early tomorrow. I also don't know if we're going to be able to get into this meeting. Something might update. But I know that I have tried, and I know that it's not like active or anything like that. But I've tried to get into it on Zoom, and I don't really mess with Zoom like at all. But I have like an account. It's hooked up over here on my laptop, and it lets me put in, let me show y'all the page. It lets me put in the information here when it comes to, it's not what it's supposed to be doing. Okay. It lets me put in this little like code thingy, and then it finds the meeting, and then it asks me for a password. And as far as I'm understanding, the other little public access or whatever ID right there, that's not really the password, because I've tried to use it and it doesn't let me do anything. So I don't know, but it says it's public access, and like I have it in right here, and again it might change. It might change tomorrow. I don't know. I'll call in the morning and see if I'm just like missing something or if there'll be like a password. So we'll try. Regardless, I'll go live at 10:45 tomorrow morning, and we'll start going over the documents, and we'll see what we can do with it. And if it's just going to be documents afterwards, because for some reason it's not really public, then we'll figure all that out tomorrow. But I still want to be able to go through some of the documentation, because in it, it does state that they know that there's going to be like crime scene photos and autopsy reports and that kind of stuff coming into the WSU case. So it's just, as I've said, ironic that Steve is still demanding transparency over on this side of things for Idaho for this case, but he and WSU are like coming together in these like joint proposed orders for things when it comes to the schedule, when they think they'll be ready for trial. Like they're all just kind of like agreeing and submitting stuff to the court. And it was the same thing with the protective order. Both sides wanted this protective order, and we already know the judge is like, no, we're not doing that, which I'm really glad that that was denied. But the flip-floppity behavior stuff, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I feel like they should be acting the same way for both cases, and for some reason it's just a little bit backwards. I don't even know. So we'll see what's going to go on with this tomorrow. Again, I don't really do Zoom. I logged in. I can go to join. I put in this code right here, this 165-853-9487, and it actually like finds it and then asks me to put in a password. Let me try it again right here and see what it does. Don't connect to audio, turn off my video. And then it says enter meeting passcode. I'll try putting this one in again, but I know that it didn't work for me before. No, passcode incorrect. So I don't know. I'll call the courthouse too in the morning and see what I can figure out. But we are going to watch. We're going to watch this. This is a very interesting little video. And like I said, they just sort of like have this impromptu thing, and they just say some like really some wild stuff. And I will go ahead and I will put the link for it for the like actual channel in the chat, just in case you guys want to go over there. I will say that the thumbnails are a little bit much. If you actually, I'll just share it over here. Hold on. If you like zoom in on the thumbnail that was made, like they've done some stupid stuff with AI to the point to where like you can't even tell that it's Steve. It looks like a completely different human. Let me share this with you real quick so you can see what I'm talking about, because you might not be able to see it on the one I used for the thumbnail. It's just bad. Like that doesn't even look like Steve. Let's see if I can get it bigger. See how bad that looks? Oh my God, no, don't play. See how bad that looks? That does not even look like Steve Goncalves. That doesn't even look like his face. And it honestly doesn't even look like Kristi either. Like they didn't do anything to Kaylee and they didn't do anything to Scott. But whatever they did to Steve and Kristi's face, that doesn't even look like them. No, because when you watch them in the video, like it's going to be a little bit crappy because the live inside of the center that they're in or whatever has really bad like service, but we know what they look like. We've seen Kristi here recently on something. This is like some AI thing, and it just makes them not look like them. And I really wish people would stop using AI. I really wish people would stop using AI. It's so bad. It is so bad. Thank you for joining, Willow. Welcome, 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 welcome. Okay. We're going to start listening to this, and I'm going to put the link in the description box as it's starting to play. Now, mind you, again, it is going to be like a little bit blurry because it's just like bad reception, I guess. It was live streaming, and then I guess they cut it. Go right here. Okay, I'm gonna let this play and I'll go grab the link real quick.
I like your channel.
Thank
I like
you.
your
Yes,
view.
you cover the Kohberger case. That's
Yes.
our
You cover it
that's our
from an
daughter.
educated,
Yes.
well-known.
Hey, sometimes I get mad at you though.
Say that one more. Say that one more time into the microphone.
You cover it from a well-educated fact point.
Yes.
And that's missing in YouTube a lot of times.
And I love watching you, but sometimes I'm like, I don't want to watch them tonight. Turn it.
Really? What
See how performative that is?
Educated fact point.
Yeah.
And I did what I always have to do because this is on YouTube and I have to follow rules and I have to change it up. So it's flipped. There's a filter on it. I sped it up to like 0.025 faster, not even than it actually was, just to be able to do what I needed to do to it. So that's why stuff is backwards.
I like your channel.
Thank
I like
you.
your
Yes,
view.
you cover the Kohberger case. That's
Yes.
our
You cover it
that's our
from an
daughter.
educated,
Yes.
well-known.
Hey, sometimes I get mad at you though.
say that one more. Say that one more time into the microphone.
You cover it from a well-educated fact point.
Yes.
And that's missing in YouTube a lot of times.
And I love watching you, but sometimes I'm like, I don't want to watch them tonight. Turn it.
Really? What do I say that upsets you?
No, I mean, you kind of play devil's advocate sometimes, which is
Oh my
fine.
gosh.
Which is fine. It's hard to take sometimes.
Well,
it's hard to take.
he does it from both.
Because all I want is just to hear that he's the worst person in the world. That's all I want to hear.
Well, I think he proved that by his guilty plea.
Yes, absolutely. So that's
Sometimes I know it's frustrating. The criminal justice system, the
Yeah.
wheels move awfully slow sometimes, but you have to be patient.
I know.
But by the end of the day, the truth or a pretty darn close version of it is going to come out,
Yeah,
When?
it will.
When?
whether through a trial or whether through
No, that
a
didn't
guilty
happen.
plea. The truth comes
that
out.
didn't happen, but that didn't
that's
happen.
not-
But that didn't happen, you idiot. I already know how this guy's MO is. I've watched some of his videos before. Like, I already know. He's going to say some real stupid shit in this entire thing. You're going to get really aggravated with him. Just trust me. Trust me. But that didn't happen. So why are you even saying that? The truth's going to come out eventually, whether through a trial or a plea deal. Did you just not witness the last year, you moron? What truth came out? Literally not a single thing else points to Kohberger that's come out in anything that has come out. Why are you making that stupid statement right off the bat? You see, you instantly made me mad. You instantly made me understand that you really don't pay much attention. Because why would you say that? Trial didn't happen. Plea didn't bring any answers. And you're saying that to the one guy who's been so adamant this entire time that they've been so full of shit this entire time that still can't keep his mind straight to even figure out what to do. And you're sitting here telling him, oh, the answers are going to come out either through trial or a plea. What? Where have you been? It's been a year. What do you mean? He instantly just annoyed me.
This is what people need to hear because
Instant.
the days of getting away of these murders are going to get less and less and less because this technology, we're learning about like how they can do hair samples without the follicle, the shoe labs, but there's new technologies coming out and we're going to scare the heck.
And that's crazy as shit that they would have the damn audacity to talk about hair testing, knowing that we have hair in Ethan's hand that was never tested. So why would you sit here and say, oh, we've got all these technologies, blah, 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 whatever, knowing that nothing was done? It's like it's like they're laughing in the face of the case. Oh, we know it all exists, but they didn't do it. And you know what? Oh, well. It's very strange. It's just as crazy to me as the Chapins backing Othram as much as they do, knowing that Othram, A, promised a 72-hour turnaround and failed, and B, comes out and like lies about how much DNA there actually was whenever they got a magnified sample. They had nothing to do with the actual little bitty nothingness that had to be magnified and amplified and all these things done to it in order to even get it to a testable level. It's amazing to me how they cling on to these entities that literally didn't do anything. Actually, like they have a little pin drop, a little pin. Their name is mentioned, but they didn't bring anything to the table. It's very strange.
These people are going down.
Between the technology, the license plate readers, the GPS, the phones.
CCTV.
And none of that proved anything. Everything he just listed off, there's nothing in this case that points to Kohberger that actually is provable. Nothing. You heard Bill Thompson. Did we not all hear Bill Thompson?
It's everywhere. Yep.
I mean, I'm telling you, it's amazing these days. They will track you down and get you.
It's good. We started a foundation. I don't know if we could give it 20
Sure,
years.
but yeah,
This is our foundation. Yeah. It's the Kaylee Goncalves Foundation. Murder has a name, and we want to fund advanced DNA forensic testing, including IgG, for when the law enforcement runs out of funds and it winds up on a cold case. We will pick up the cost and pay for these accredited labs that we've partnered with.
There's literally thousands of cases waiting for funding.
Yeah.
Yep. I was just talking about like that. Even SANE kits. There's a backlog, at least in the state of Colorado, and they've tried to pass legislation. But most people don't realize that it's expensive to do DNA testing.
See, and I don't care about like organizations and scholarship funds and all that stuff being like made in like the victims' names. I mean, if you're going to do something, do something. But I don't like the fact that like people that we know have connections to businesses that are really shady. People have dug up the information. We've reviewed the information. We know there's a lot of just not too legitimate stuff in the background here. So when we see that once again they've connected themselves to some sort of organization and we know the back history, or at least the pieces that we can find, it's a bit sketchy. I don't really like it. I don't really trust them. I don't trust these people. They've lied to us. Even honestly, even if we did not have all of the shady business dealings that we've found and other people have found and we've looked at and talked about in their background here, the simple fact that they have had some reason to be completely dishonest to the public the entire time is enough for me to just not like the fact that they're going to be in control of a lot of this money that's going to be coming in. I just don't like it. I don't trust these people.
And it's not like you just drop it in, and it's a couple of day process to actually do the testing with multiple people doing the cutting, to do running it through the machines, to do the statistical analysis. Then you're like, okay, now we got it. Is there somebody in the CODIS system? Oh, there's not.
There's not.
Then you got to wait until maybe genetic genealogy comes in.
Yep.
And most people don't realize they just people. And it used to be, I remember we had a case where we were trying to prove a client innocent, and there was some, testing that was new at the time, and it was like $100,000 to do the testing. So,
and I believe it. I believe that there's like extravagant prices behind this stuff. So like it's always like an on the fence. Like I can see the good in it, like the scholarships and stuff like that. Whenever it comes to like Ethan and all that stuff, like I'm fine with all that. The Made with Kindness Foundation, I do find it interesting. The switch up that Rochelle put in my face the other day, sending me like the screenshots of how Kaylee's name is like no longer even associated with that foundation, and it definitely was in the very beginning. So there's been like some changes, and you just have to question like what's really happening in the background, because we only see what they're wanting us to see, and damn well there's all kinds of shit going on. You just know it.
Prices come down. It's going to continue to come down, obviously.
Yes.
And there's going to be bigger and bigger samples, and more people are going to be in those databases.
Yep.
And they're going to find the people.
And that's another thing with our foundation. We really want to push the upload to GEDmatch, which is a forensic tool that investigators are allowed to use. So, any of
man, with all the issues that we had with the loopholes that they did, do you realize, like, I don't know if it's like legitimate. Like, I just know like everybody is talking about it. And as you guys know, I haven't had time to really sit down and look at any of this stuff the way that I want to, but there's a million articles talking about how the government is using like GEDmatch and Ancestry and 23andMe and blah, blah, blah to like look for alien DNA. There's people all over the world talking about this right now. And then when you consider that crazy shit, on top of the fact that the judge just literally said, yeah, everything that you said took place here, these loopholes, these rules that they broke, all these problems that you're bringing in front of the court right now, they all happened, but they're constitutionally not important, so it doesn't matter. Next. They admitted everything that Ann Taylor's team was telling us was true, but the judge didn't care. The judge didn't care. The judge didn't care so much. That's right when they started making the lie, making the feds get completely taken out of the situation, bringing Brett Payne in to play puppet and tell a lie on the stand, making him have a little nice, cushy non-law enforcement position so he could just get deputized in and not really be under too much of an oath. He can lie and it'd be fine. Like, I know that they were trying to orchestrate that entire thing. We saw it all happening. And they know that these loopholes happened. They know that these laws were broken, and they want to push that. They want to sponsor that. The rule breakers. Interesting. Not shocking. Interesting.
These home DNA kits that you do for free, you can upload it to GEDmatch, and it's controversial. I get it. You're not going to get everybody to do it.
People don't understand. IgG does not find the guy who did it. It finds the people who didn't do it. It really does that by getting close.
Like, that's a crazy statement to say. IgG doesn't find the person who did it. It finds the people who didn't do it. That's a crazy ass statement, Steve.
Get everybody to do it.
People don't understand. IgG does not find the guy who did it. It finds the people who didn't do it. It really does that by getting close as you can to him through his family, but it's not them. They're not. It's like a lineup. And you say, no. None of those guys did it.
So what he's saying is it's going to find everybody but the guy. That's not true. How many cases actually do get solved all the way down to the perpetrator because of IgG and cold case work? Like, come on. This is the wrong, no matter what he gets his hands on, we've seen it. And this is going to sound horrible. And I'm not perfect. And I make mistakes every freaking day of my life. Okay. Multiple times a day. But when you are telling us that you are this big alpha dog, that you're this highly intelligent person, when you work for IT and we see the kind of spelling mistakes that there is, when we see him misspeak the way that he does, I can't really just sit here and listen and trust to the things that you have to say. You're making yourself sound like you're something that you're not. And then you come out and you put the words out, and then it's just like, what? The fact that he is also going to take, again, no accountability for the things that they came out here and got wrong, and all the rumors that got started because of them putting out false information. The audacity of these two constantly. I mean, it's just to the point now to where you have to laugh about it. Like, what in the actual shit are they doing? Does anybody want to answer that? What are they doing? They are just like the Chapins sitting here and entertaining the exact people that they hate. It's so strange. It's just such strange ass behavior.
That's what it is. So people think if they put it up there, they're going to be committed of a crime.
No, I mean, they have to go and find the people look at it, and they look at all the tests, the little jumps on the little lines, and they say, oh, this is the allele, and this is, an 11 and 12. And guess what? On the DNA sample that we found, this allele, it's an 11 and 12. So and you gotta have so many things. Yeah, we got a male and these different
process of elimination. And it's the best way that you could ask your case to be tried. You don't want eyewitnesses saying Steve was there. I'm pretty sure it was it. Those days are over, man. You want to have science say you were there or you weren't there, or free your name. Like you were saying, that's the kind of stuff you want. We're not even against it being there to be used to free somebody up. We want the truth. That's however we get to.
Yes, that's what I mean.
I mean, nobody wants to.
That's exactly what I mean by what I just ranted about. Yes, he did. Yes, that's what I mean.
I've never met a DA that really wanted to convict innocent people. We want to make sure we get the right people.
It looks stupid because it'll eventually get caught.
As a parent of a murdered child, I 100% want the person who murdered my child. I don't want an innocent man in prison and the real guy out there just living his dandy life. No, absolutely not. Like, no. So, I mean, we were 100% about this is the right guy, and they told us early on. And
I said, I haven't seen enough yet. They need to share more with me to understand. I need the dots connected. And once they showed us, the way that the sheet was pulled up and the splatter and all the things, and they're both, Kaylee, Maddie were there. He was on there. A cop couldn't have just dropped.
So once they showed you the sheath pictures that came out publicly that you guys said that you didn't know about, make up your mind for one. That's what proved it to you, the sheath and the spatter around the sheath. That's what did it for you, Steve? The sheath that is written to have been found on the floor. Are you going to acknowledge that situation? Because they do mention broken plea here. They're going to bring it up. They're a bit confused onto who wrote it. It seems like they think that Turvey wrote the book. You're going to hear the wording that they use talking shit about it. They definitely don't understand that Chris Whitcomb was not a paid expert witness. They say the book was written by a paid expert witness. No, you're very confused. Stop talking. It's gonna this whole thing. That's why we changed to schedule tonight, because there's just some wild stuff here. Very wild stuff.
It impossible because he couldn't have got them both there at the same time, because the way that it was aspirated and then pulling it up left that pattern of the sheath there.
A void was on the bed when
exactly.
the sheath
So I was
was
like,
picked up.
all right, we got 100%. This it's
So it's
over. It's
clean.
done with. Let's go to court. And then we didn't get to go to court.
I understand. I mean, and well, if you watched, I mean, I was like, well, you know, there could be some, but once the DNA came out, I was like, it's over.
It's over. It's
And,
over.
I mean,
On the
I'm a
sheet?
criminal.
The DNA came out with the probable cause 3.5 years ago. Nothing happened in the entire time that's like, oh yeah, remember when this happened and it was my... No, this was like day one they told us that they had DNA on the knife sheath. And we pretty much like knew what was happening. I don't know. I don't like this guy. I don't like this interview. I'm gonna be bitching like about a lot of things. The whole thing was so
Defense
annoying.
attorney.
Yeah.
What are the odds?
Yeah.
I mean,
What are
I know
the
they came up
odds?
with some statistical
Yeah.
number
Oh, yeah.
that,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
1 in 700,
5.37 octillion,
5.37 octillion that just was
which is
his
not enough
DNA.
people in the world or enough planets with people on the Earth.
Yeah.
So you take the total population and all the planets, you still wouldn't have enough
Yeah.
to figure out
No,
that's what it is.
We're pretty convinced.
And-
That's pretty convincing.
And I still get people.
You're
I
incredible.
Oh yeah.
somebody sent me something on my Twitter the other day. You know, he's innocent. He couldn't have
All
done
the
it by
time.
himself. Blah 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 blah. And I responded back, "You're crazy.
You're crazy.
Mhm.
Okay,
He
it doesn't
did it all
matter
the
what."
time.
Expert witnesses agree that it had to be more than one person. So that tells me right there, he obviously hasn't paid attention to any of the expert testimony that's come out from the expert's own face, or even bothered reading the reports. Has he bothered? Because that's not somebody just on Twitter with a theory. That's literal documentation from expert witnesses that saw evidence. And they're very detailed about it. Give it a read, bro.
You think doesn't matter what you believe. It only matters what you can prove in court with legal and
Like expert witnesses having documentation that can prove it, like that, you mean, like that.
couldn't have
All
done
the
it by
time.
himself. Blah 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 blah. And I responded back, "You're crazy.
You're crazy.
Okay,
He
it
did
doesn't
it all
matter
the
what you
time.
think. Doesn't matter what you believe. It only matters what you can prove in court with legal and competent evidence." And his DNA was there.
Who gives a single shit? Don't ever hire this guy. Don't ever hire this guy. He is a horrible attorney. There are so many cases with DNA present and they're innocent. All you have to do is give it a Google yourself. You'll find all of it. No one has to hold your hand. We're all adults here. Come on, bro.
My DNA wasn't there.
Yeah.
Right. None of these people's DNA.
No.
It was his.
Yeah.
What are the odds? It happened to be on the K-bar.
And how many other unknown DNA on the sheath itself? How many people were swabbed and none of the DNA was actually put into the system to do any comparisons? How many things weren't actually done? This lawyer dude is proving more and more with every sentence that he doesn't really care enough about this case to actually retain any information. He talks about it all the time. He does videos about it all the time. He's made, I don't know how much money if you go and look at his views. He's retained nothing. It's just a script to him. It's just a video. It's just a headline. It's just a quick buck to make. He doesn't care enough to retain any information, just like Chris Whitcomb. People that care remember. Remember that.
That he bought
Yeah.
the sheath,
Mhm.
right?
That
Like
you
I always
bought.
said,
That
I
he
had
has an
mine.
account buying.
exactly.
Welcome, Brady.
You actually had one. I remember that. You had the
Welcome,
military
welcome,
background.
Yeah, I got that the summer of '88. I said, "Here's mine."
See, that proves that they watch him because they remember him bringing out his K-bar. So they hate YouTube so much, but they watch it enough to where she's got to be like, no, I don't want to watch him tonight. That means it's a like all the time occurrence. They probably have a whole roster.
Yes.
When
but
that
was
came
one of
out-
the first time that I actually ever saw a K-bar. And I was like,
That's why
wow.
she didn't like you. Had the keyboard.
No. I was definitely like,
No.
Wow,
she liked
that's-
you. We listened.
that's it. That's what it looks like.
I remember it was spooky.
Yeah, I know. I remember being like,
that's
whoa.
why we asked. We're like, you guys check to see if you ever had a hunter or a fishing license? And they're like,
It's not
what's
a
the
hunting
point?
knife. It's not a fishing
And I was
knife.
like, it's Idaho. Our jury's going to be wondering, like, do you have a history of like some kind of purpose with a weapon like this? And he never did. And he never had an alibi. Like, come on, people. He's not even trying to tell you where he was. Looking at the stars, do you?
I'm just going to let him finish because it tells you how much he hasn't paid attention. I'm
with
going
a
to
weapon
let him
like
finish.
this? And he never did. And he never had an alibi. Like, come on, people. He's not even trying to tell you where he was. Looking at the stars, do you buy that?
Turned his phone off.
That's what he keeps going off of. To this day, that's what he's going off of. Now, she's mentioning the phone being turned off, and they're going to argue about how there's documents and proof that the phone was turned off. No, there's not. Where is it? I keep asking for it. No one's produced it. We have Celebrite that comes out here constantly saying it, but when we've asked Celebrite for information, what did they give us? Selfies? Shit from a generalized area search for things that had nothing to do with direct searches or anything else. They even admitted in their little conference that we went over the other day with the FBI guy from Pennsylvania that there was literally nothing there. So they're going to argue something that they claim there's documentation out there for that people need to stop arguing about when no analytical reports about his phone have ever been released. Just like we still don't have the Amazon invoice. We still don't have the victim's autopsy reports. A whole year after. We're almost at a whole year. That's crazy.
Listen, as I say, after 32 years, and I have to tell this to clients sometimes.
You're a busy man.
There are no coincidences in criminal law. Like, what are the odds his phone just happened to turn off at 12:32 or whatever it was, and then turn right back on?
Turn back on.
What are the odds? And that he'd been.
That's a good question. I should ask AI and just put in the known facts that nobody disputes and say what is
the narrative for people that are pro-burglars or that believe that he's innocent. They just discard that information. Say it's not true. That's not true. He didn't turn off his phone.
Because we don't have documents, Kristi. We're asking for them, but you don't read them. So maybe you just don't know that we don't have it. Maybe that's your excuse.
Well, there's documents. They lied.
recording.
The police lied. So you can't defuse. You can't just like if somebody's going to stand there and say everything the police said was a lie. These are all lies.
Prove it. We're wanting the reports.
We tried to go through. We pulled all the pleadings in the case because I always say, hey,
no, you didn't.
Want to see what the defense thinks is the bad evidence? What are they trying to make go away? And the genetic genealogy, I just thought they have no hope in that. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, there's going to be surprise. No, it's not.
So he's so stupid. He's so stupid. The IGG that led to the FBI calling MPD, there was going to be nothing but a lie told about everything. So how is that the one thing that you keep honing in on in this entire thing? You didn't read you didn't care to read anything. You're grabbing onto information from the date they released Payne's damn probable cause. Sir, you're not very good at even faking it. This is horrible.
The bad evidence. What are they trying to make go away?
Like what?
And the genetic genealogy, I just thought they have no hope in that. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, there's going to be surprise.
Worst thing you could do is ask
it's
AI.
Not. And his DNA was
AI pulls everything. AI pulls YouTube videos. It pulls people on Reddit talking stupid shit, making up stuff. It pulls Twitter. It pulls everything. That's why when you ask it stuff, it always will change the answer. It's constantly pulling up new information. AI is really just not the way to do anything when it comes to pulling up documents and asking for summaries. You're going to have to be paying for a good AI that has really strict filters that only pays attention to the things that you're giving it, or it's literally going to pull it from everywhere, all corners of the internet, no matter if it's legitimate or not. Some of the AI can't tell the difference, so they just use all of it.
Abandoned at the scene.
Yeah, they're trying to say he had a privacy access to it. And I love what Hickler said. He's like, in the crime scene?
He's
you think they needed to contact him and ask for his permission?
Yeah. They didn't challenge anything at the crime scene because they knew it's abandoned under the law.
Yeah.
They were trying to come up with this unique, and I get it. They're doing their job.
Yes.
Yeah. We got to
always give her credit.
I think she did
she did a good job for what she did, but she also had to have that conversation with him. And this is why and I know a lot of people the photographs and things like that, and the whole world doesn't necessarily need to see. They need to be
the jury.
But I think people need to see what true evil can do.
Yes.
So when they're making laws and legislation or saying we're going to repeal the death penalty or something, this is what
the ugly
for.
part.
This is the ugly part. This is what evil is.
Yeah.
Well, at least he agrees that some of the crime scene pictures do need to be released. Because some of these people are out here like Chris Hansen, and I'm just never going to forget this. I am never going to forget this stupid shit that he said. And eventually I'm just going to like do another video completely running my mouth about it because I cannot believe the dumb shit he said. In the interview that he did with Kristi, Chris Hansen, Mr. Predator Man, said that if you want to see these crime scene pictures, then you're no better than a PDF file. That you might as well just belong to the 764 group if you want to look at crime scene photos. That's what he compares you to. Because you care enough to see facts. You're not asking to see mangled bodies. You're asking to see enough without the bullshit. If you care enough, you're no better than a child diddler to him. He said that shit. He said that shit in that interview more than once. He said that shit. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. I clipped it. I have it. He said that shit. That was wild. Chris Hansen is the predator guy, the one who goes in and catches people in their kitchens and stuff that go to meet little kids. And then, out pops Chris Hansen. That guy. Oh, and what's his face? Robert Pattinson. This is, oh my God. This is so crazy, okay? Robert Pattinson from Twilight, Edward from Twilight, is playing Chris Hansen in the newest movie that's like been going all over the place on TikTok for the past like 3 days. There's like this trailer and he's doing this voiceover and he's playing Chris freaking Hansen. I find it so ironic that the Chapins, Stacy Chapin, went and interviewed with freaking Jacob and his wife, the Lautners, okay? And now we have Edward playing the guy who just interviewed Kristi and who's now on the board of their Murder Has a Name DNA Foundation. Chris Hansen just joined the board along with Nancy Grace. Those connections to Twilight are just cracking me up. I'm sorry. Like, it's got me in the mood to watch the whole series because what are you bringing them all together for? It's just so strange. That's the kind of stuff that I think about all the time. Like, what is happening? Yes, a Chris Hansen movie. A Chris Hansen movie. Let me see. Let me find it. Hold on. Let me find it for you. We'll watch the trailer real quick before we continue on with this bullshit. Yeah, and his voice sounds so creepy. His voice sounds so creepy. Okay, yeah, it came out about 4 days ago. Hold on, let me get the bigger one. Hold on. Okay, hold on. It's bad. His voice is so crazy. Everyone's like, oh my God, his voice is nuts. Robert Pattinson is actually like a really, really good actor. Like, don't just like knock him for Twilight. He's actually like really, really versatile, not versatile, but versatile. Yeah, he's really versatile. Okay. Yes, it's very strange. But this guy, again, is also on the board of the Murder Has a Name thing that they just put together for Kaylee. And Kristi interviewed with him not very long ago. Okay. You guys were in here before I play it. This is the interview where Kristi lied about not ever seeing the 11/12 footage. You remember that? And I did a whole video about it and put the Why You Always Lying song in it, okay? But by the way, they dropped that copyright thing, so that one's good to go. But this is the interview. The Chris Hansen interview was the one where Kristi lied to him and said that they had never seen the 11/12 footage of the car, when we literally have Jack Decor in his interview, and we have Steve telling Brat 1 million years ago, Jack got it for them the day of. Kristi lies to his face on live television about not watching the 11/12 King Road footage. That was the guy. Okay. Watch this interview. Watch this trailer.
Come on in.
What would have happened if I wasn't here? You see how this looks, right?
This is crazy.
At the end of the day, the man must be held accountable for the decisions that he makes. Do you agree?
I guess I have to like pause it. I don't know how it's gonna work. I've never done like a big time movie trailer thing, you Bobber. So I'm just gonna stop it for like a second and then play it again because I don't want to get struck by nothing.
To watch television,
I'll pop up his channel.
Well, there's something you should know.
Where he talks to Kristi.
I'm Chris Hansen.
So yeah, I guess he's gonna. I guess they filmed all new scenes for it. Maybe they're gonna have some scenes from what he's been doing. But he's been on TV doing this for a long time.
This kid's just a predator.
He is very underrated.
It's Dateline NBC. And you're about to be a part of television history.
You know I'm gonna watch.
We're gonna be the number one show on TV.
Eek. Yeah. So I just find it interesting. The Chapin's interview with Jacob, and then Edward is now playing the guy that's on the board for the Goncalveses. Crazy stuff. Yeah, hold on. This is his channel. Let's see, where's it at right here? This is his channel. And when was it that he interviewed with Kristi? Has it been that long? A month ago, right here. We went over this one. Yeah, that's the one where she damn straight said to him that they had never seen the car footage on 11/12. And I was just like, oh my God, I cannot believe you just lied. It's crazy. I even like tagged him on Twitter and in the little video that I made, I was like, how do you feel knowing that she lied to you? And like, of course, no response. He doesn't give a shit. He's got his name out there talking about the one of the biggest cases over the past few decades. And now he's on the board with them, and it's just making him more money. It's just making him more popular. So of course he doesn't care that he was lied to. Of course he doesn't care. You know? Is that the one that was supposed to play Jacob? Because there was an actual, like, one of the guys from the pack was apparently supposed to play Jacob, but he wouldn't cut his hair, which I don't blame him. That's like a native thing for them to not cut their hair. And Jacob's like a white boy. Like Taylor Lautner just looks like he's like from somewhere else. He's like an actual like full blown white boy apparently. So that makes a lot of sense. You know what? I could see that. Oh yeah. He's got the jawline. He's got the yeah, he's got the build. He could definitely play him. I really think he probably could. He's probably not now that he's played this guy. Thanks for the 5, Shirley. Thank you so much. How long can they accept that BK isn't guilty? I mean, I don't know when they're going to actually start paying attention to stuff. And I honestly don't think that they're going to ever publicly do that. Unless something happens and they're forced to, because look at everything that they're able to do because of this. So I don't know, like, there's no way that Steve and her do not have these conversations. Like, you can see again, just sort of like how everywhere Steve is, he obviously still has issues. Like, let's be serious. He wouldn't be fluttering all over the place if his mind was even a little bit at ease with the way that things went. Let's be serious. We're human. Let's pay attention. So there's no way that they don't have these conversations, but I feel like they're heading in a direction that they like. Why would they jeopardize that? That's why I am always here for the victims and not the people that are left behind to keep their names polished. The Chapin kids aren't even triplets anymore. That's how much they can just shelf Ethan. And it's sad that me and like a whole group of actual strangers care more about that concept than people like right there in the family. Like that's crazy. That's crazy. They have reasons to lie. We don't. We don't.
And I believe that obviously they looked at the evidence and they said, once they see these photographs, it's over. It's over, and they're going to give you death. And he knew that. He was smart enough to realize.
And the prosecutor hid that from us. Didn't let the other families know what happened to my daughter, and didn't let me know what happened to theirs. Because if we all would have got on the same page, we all would have said.
What happened to Kaylee? Because what was it?
Gag order?
The gag order. So we found out 2 days.
Murder in privacy.
But see, I don't believe this at all, because there's like messages that are coming back up from like way in the beginning of this case, before the arrest, before the gag order, text messages that were sent to people that knew FBI agents, people that were married to FBI agents, their cousins married to an FBI agent, blah, 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 whatever. the Goncalveses, even having conversations on Facebook groups and shit like that, they knew that Kaylee's face was destroyed. They knew her face was unrecognizable. They knew the amount of damage that had been done to her. So maybe they didn't know like the exact numbers when it comes to like what we saw in Sutton's report, but they knew. They can't sit there and say they didn't know because they were talking about it online. That's where they failed to be able to keep all their little secrets, is they like the attention too much. So they're constantly out here doing this and leaving paper trails literally everywhere.
2 days before sentencing.
You get a gag order and you get to murder with
2 days before sentencing, we found out how many times she had been stabbed, where at.
Different
up
weapons.
until then, we didn't know. We didn't know that her teeth were knocked out.
Yeah, y'all did. Y'all talked about it online. Months and months and months and months and months before this. Come on.
We didn't know that her facial bones were broken. We didn't know that she was stabbed 24 times to her face.
Yeah.
We did not know any of that.
And that's why a jury would have given him death.
We found out 2 days before the sentencing. We were like, we're writing victim impact statements. Can we at least know the...
See, Olivia said it was the morning of. Steve said it was the morning of. She just said 2 days. Remember, they said it was the morning of, and they were in a rush that morning to rewrite their impact statements because they didn't know anything until they got there that morning and were handed a USB drive from the prosecution as they walked into the courtroom. So she just gave it 2 days. Which was it? Was it 2 days before? Or did you get handed a USB as soon as you walked in the way you showed us before? They can't keep it straight.
Well, impact, it doesn't break that down for you on a death certificate. And at that point, that's all we had was a death certificate.
So we knew a lot of the facts. We knew about the
report.
gag and the choking and stuff like that. But we didn't know. And the thing is, you're begging a prosecutor to tell you what happened to your kid, and they're asking you to make decisions. Do you support this? I'm like, I don't know what. Tell me what happened. I don't get how you can kill people and think you have a right to privacy. It doesn't make any sense.
See how he just like went everywhere? Okay. You needing to know the amount of stabs Kaylee had in her face should not give you either direction when it comes to the death penalty. If y'all were walking around with death penalty shirts on for years, photographed in these shirts, all while not knowing those numbers. So what does it matter at the end? Why do you have to make that decision knowing that information and knowing that information only when you've been the one pushing the death penalty the entire time? See how some of the stuff that they say just really doesn't make sense. I don't know who like comes up with the things that they come out and they say, but the shit just doesn't work. Especially if you've actually been paying attention to anything that's not on mainstream TV. You didn't need to know any of that. You already had your mind set on what you wanted. So you would have never agreed to the plea having that information because that has nothing to do. You think even if it is Kohberger that he sat there and counted, like that information is not going to come from him. It's going to come from the freaking government who's going to give you the paperwork regardless. I just have a lot to say. I just have a lot to say. And it's just like she said earlier, and I should have stopped it then. When it comes to like it being Kohberger or whatever, she said something about how, yeah, and they told us ahead of time. They told you what ahead of time? Because that's been something else that's back and forth too. Did they actually say something to the Goncalveses ahead of his arrest about him being the one that was arrested and throw the name around ahead of time like Kristi's apparently slipped up and said before and then taken back? Is she saying that again, or what did she mean by that? That's why they just need to stop talking because they cause so much confusion when they come out here, especially in something not planned like this. They just meet up in a hallway and start gabbing. They're saying some really stuff they probably shouldn't be saying because none of it's adding up still. They're all over the place.
He had a lot of rights. He had a lot of rights going through that court system. Everything I heard was his rights, his rights, his rights. And
that's I understand it's frustrating. And but you guys did what victims should do, and that's be at every court appearance. Let them be known. Okay, because I can tell you from the defense perspective, the worst thing you hate is when the victims
They
show
told
up
us
at
that early
sentencing.
on. They're like, we hate seeing that. Put a face on a crime. We want it to be a faceless crime.
There at everyone that we said.
And we're like, all right, you just tell us the most we can do, and we will do it. We are that kind of family.
What did he mean by that? They wanted it to be a faceless crime. I don't believe that's true.
Let them be known, okay? Because I can tell you from the defense perspective, the worst thing you hate is when the victims show up at
that early
sentencing.
on. They're like, we hate seeing that. Put a face on a crime. We want it to be a faceless crime.
There at everyone that we said.
And we're like, all right, you just tell us the most we can do, and we will do it. We are that kind of family.
I have
Yeah.
All right. So,
Yeah.
I mean, thank you for taking the time. I'm
No,
so
man,
sorry
I've
for
seen
your
you.
loss.
Yeah.
I mean, thanks for watching. I mean, hopefully you thought we did a fair.
You do, and you hustle. You were like, I've been gone for a couple of days, been in court. And I'm like, go for it. I like educated people saying and clearing things up, because I had a case that nobody was clearing things up.
Because you were the ones out here muddying up the waters, sir. And then taking no responsibility, putting information out there, getting asked about it, sweeping it under the rug, taking the responsibility and placing it on somebody else, not answering the question. Y'all have done that to so many things. And the sad part is that it's not just about Kaylee. They've done it in everyone's timeline so far. And they take no responsibility. They blame people that they are complaining they don't get any information from for all their misinformation, while claiming they weren't being told anything. Well, if you're going to tell the public, if you were going to tell the public that the state's not talking to you, then you cannot come out here to the public and blame the state for the misinformation that you spread, that you created out of your own ass. That's just not how that works. So you either have to come out and tell us the truth and tell us the state was telling you stuff, but you just didn't really care. You were just going to go off and do your own thing anyway. And you just came out here and said whatever you wanted to say because that's really what happened here. Or you really weren't being told anything and you really are solely responsible regardless for the misinformation. And wait till he says this other thing. He's going to say something here that's crazy as shit. He says some real crazy shit here in a second about some information connections that he claims somebody has, but wants like $10,000 for the information. Just listen to him, bro. He says some crazy shit.
And that's so frustrating to have nobodies with fan fiction narratives read that they don't understand. They're, Latin and Greek. And I'm like, I just need a leader to say what the heck is going on. This is ridiculous.
I just need an alpha. Again, see the statements, the repetitive.
So I appreciate those guys that can actually lay it out and clear these things up. And if they don't want to listen, they don't want to listen, but at least it's out there.
Well, in the Lori Val.
Thanks for the $9.99 wit. I want to know why the G's never had to ID Kaylee's body. And other death, someone has to ID the person, and I would want to know it was actually my daughter, no matter how bad it was. Yeah, I don't really know. But they did state that. They did state that they never saw her. So that means that they never went in and they never looked at her body, never verified by tattoos or birthmarks or anything like that, that it was actually her. And something else that I was told by Xana's mom is that Steve is the one who apparently brought the cremation option to Jeff and everyone else. And according to Steve, it was the police that recommended everyone be cremated. So I don't really think that anybody ID'd anybody, and I could be wrong, but it doesn't sound like the bodies were viewed by the families. There's no documents. There's no mention by anyone of them ever going down to that funeral home that night to ID the bodies. There's nothing stating that the families went up to Spokane when the autopsies were being done and viewed the bodies, even after being washed off or anything like that. Nothing that I've seen. I mean, I don't know. I've always understood that people were ID'd. And especially in a house where there's multiple people, multiple victims, you would think that that was something that they had done. It is very odd. It is very strange. Yeah, it's been a question for a while. Been a question for a while. But that's why it also allows for people to have like all kinds of theories, because if you can't tell me that bodies were ID'd and the family came in and said, yes, that was them and identified these markings. I mean, we had this issue with the Kylie Rodney case. We had the same problems. I don't know. I mean, maybe something was done in order to let them ID without being in the actual room. I don't know how the hell they would have possibly done any of that. I don't know if it was like verbal and the cops just like said, yeah, she's got this tattoo here or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how that worked. I don't know how that worked.
Hello, Chad Daybell case. The grandparents, she would call them my Patreon show. And we got to meet them and they were like, we appreciate you just laying it out. She goes, we learn more I listened to you than what we were learning from the prosecutors.
I hired a lawyer because we literally like, what's going on? And you're not telling us. And plus we knew there was confusion on that little community. They didn't know what was going on. They weren't prepared for a crime like this. And I was like, we're going to round up the troops. We're going to get the FBI. We're going to get the governor to give money. We're going to do whatever it takes because this case ain't going cold.
Yeah.
You know, and you only got so much time to get people rallied. And it can just be one witness that sees one thing that can be like, go check that other camera. And that's what we're hoping for.
And I know the process can be frustrating, and the balancing of the defendant's rights versus the public and the family's right to have resolution. But you got to go through that process. And I know it's painful for you, but ultimately the truth comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And for people to say, oh, he didn't do it. Like, he pled guilty 4 times.
See, that's the only thing this stupid ass lawyer ever has as his answer. He pled guilty. What is your actual point? Again, more proof that this guy has not actually given 2 shits to sit down and actually read anything. Did he even listen to the damn... I'm sure he did reaction videos to it when Bill Thompson gave his bullshit that said that they can't connect Kohberger to the crime scene and they can't put him in the area and blah, 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 whatever. Did he just not remember anything about what Bill Thompson said? Like, it's amazing. This guy's an attorney.
4 times plus the burglary. People don't plead guilty to consecutive life sentences unless they did it.
Yeah, there's these fringe cases where people plead to something that they didn't do, but they're not for. It's like a one-off, and they're like, I can't defend myself.
There's plenty of cases where there's multiple murders, multiple people killed, and people still pled guilty that were innocent. What do you mean? See, he just needs to stop. He literally just needs... Stop, Steve.
Was a drug, all these other...
I need to get out of jail. They're off misdemeanor final ticket. I get that. We're not talking about a speeding ticket, though, where you're speeding and they give you a defective headlamp, right? We're talking murder where you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison.
Alfred plea. They wanted to do an Alfred plea, and we were like, I rallied everyone and said, we ain't doing this.
I wish, and this...
They wanted to do an Alfred plea? I'm sorry? What do you mean, Steve? One more time.
Was a drug, all these other...
I need to get out of jail. They're offering me a misdemeanor final ticket. I get that. We're not talking about a speeding ticket, though, where you're speeding and they give you a defective headlamp, right? We're talking murder where you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison.
Alfred plea. They wanted to do an Alfred, and we were like, I rallied everyone and said, we ain't doing this.
I wish.
You know how much that changes everything for the guilters? The guilters can no longer say, oh, well, he could have done an Alfred plea because then he would have kept the presumption of innocence, blah, 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 whatever. They have their Lord and Savior, Gonzo, over here, literally saying that they wanted to do just that. And that was pushed off the table, that they weren't going to allow for the Alfred plea. So what are the guilters going to use now? Now that King Gonzo over here has just said that they wanted to do that and they said no. An Alfred plea is a type of guilty plea in the United States criminal law where a defendant formally admits guilt but maintains their innocence. It allows the accused to accept the legal consequences of a conviction such as sentencing, while still asserting that they did not commit the crime. Steve just said they wanted to do an Alford plea, and they said no. So even in the plea process, Kohberger was still trying to stay on the innocent side of any pleading that he was going to be doing, and they wouldn't allow that to happen. Does that not change like all kinds of shit? Idaho plea. No, let's see. Alford plea in Idaho. I mean, it says Idaho has it. On Idaho Falls, Idaho's official website, it talks about Alford pleas. Yeah, we have here at Atkinson Law Office, August 21st, it says, Idaho does not accept no contest pleas. Idaho, however, does allow defendants to enter Alford pleas. So then the book is wrong. Because doesn't Chris Whitcomb say in his book that Alford pleas are not allowed in Idaho? Let's see. Alford plea, Idaho, capital murder. Yeah. In 2025, a guy entered an Alford plea in Idaho for a case where he shot and killed someone. In 2025, same guy, to second-degree murder charge and destruction of evidence, and he entered an Alford plea last year. Yeah, Idaho allows an Alford plea. Like, I'm using Google over here. Well, Bing. I'm on Bing. Alford plea in Idaho capital murder cases involve a defendant entering a guilty plea while asserting innocence. This plea allows the defendant to admit that sufficient evidence exists to convict them without admitting guilt. The plea is based on factual evidence and is treated as a standard guilty plea once entered. It has been used in various states, including Idaho, and is governed by specific procedures and legal standards. Steve just said they wanted that to happen. That is still Kohberger claiming that he did not do it. That is still Ann Taylor claiming that her client is innocent.
I was a druggie. I have all these other.
I need to get out of jail. They're offering a misdemeanor final ticket. I get that. We're not talking about a speeding ticket though, where you're speeding and they give you a defective headlamp, right? We're talking murder. We're in the rest of your life in prison.
An Alford plea. They wanted to do an Alford plea, and we were like, I rallied everyone and said, we ain't doing this.
I wish, and this is my own.
Look at his face. I just think he realized that he effed up. I think he just realized he wasn't supposed to say that. I'm floored right now. I did not catch this as I was letting it do its thing so I could do my thing. I did not catch this portion. This is crazy.
Yeah, I have all these other.
I need to get out of jail. They're offering me a misdemeanor final ticket. I get that. We're not talking about a speeding ticket though, where you're speeding and they give you a defective headlamp, right? We're talking murder where you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison.
An Alford plea. They wanted to do an Alford plea, and we were like, I rallied everyone and said, we ain't doing this.
I wish, and this is.
Look his face. Ugh. Thanks for the 999 again, Wit. SG, we didn't know about the plea. Then they tried to, yeah, see, he's all over the place. And then they tried to do an Alford plea, but we rallied the troops and said, no, it's not happening. Which is it? Did you know or not? Okay, this is why I put the text message up that Kara sent me about when they knew they were going to be at least meeting with the prosecution. So on Thursday, everyone got emails about having the meeting on Friday. They're not going to put anything about there being a plea in the subject of the Zoom meeting. They're not going to put that out there because then they're going to start getting all kinds of flooded calls to their office before the meeting happens. They're not prepared for any of that. They're not going to put it in the subject line. So when they met at noon in this Zoom meeting on that Friday, before we were told publicly about the plea happening a few days later, that's when the family got told about it. So on that Friday, is that when an Alford plea was brought to the families? And like they were like, no, it's not happening. And then by Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, when the stuff was signed on June 30th, it turned into the regular schmegular guilty plea. Or was there some prior information ahead of time? Because all we know is what the court said. And there might have been conversations going back and forth between Anne and Bill Thompson and the families and blah, blah, blah about an Alford plea way before Judge Hippler told them or asked them if they'd ever had a conversation about it. If there was no documentation, if it wasn't done like officially, they can say they hadn't talked about it and they're not lying to the court. There hasn't been any official discussions. It's just whatever they're having with their, the lunch that they get together every day. I mean, who freaking knows? We already know how it works. They wanted to do an Alford plea. Unbelievable. That changes so much. And the guilters are going to try to act like this doesn't matter. Don't let them. Don't let them. Because this is not coming from somebody on the innocent side. This is coming from Steve himself. They can't call it a lie. Are they going to turn against their leader? All for the sake of constantly arguing with us? No, they're not. This statement's got them all by the balls, bro. By the balls. By the balls. Okay. That's crazy. Oh my God.
We saw it in the Kristi talking all these other. I need to get out of jail. They're offering me a misdemeanor final ticket. I get that. We're not talking about a speeding ticket though, where you're speeding and they give you a defective headlamp, right? We're talking murder where you're gonna spend the rest of your life in prison.
An Alford plea. They wanted to do an Alford plea, and we were like, I rallied everyone. Was like, we ain't doing this.
I wish, and this is my own.
That is so crazy. That is so crazy. Thanks for the 5. Reality with Kristen Marie. How would Alford plea? There isn't enough evidence to say they can convict him. You admit that you aren't guilty. You just can't win with the evidence. See, no, it's like basically you're saying that you're innocent, even though the evidence makes you look guilty, that you feel like there's enough evidence that a jury will find you guilty. So you're going to go ahead and put an Alford plea in, basically admitting that the evidence looks strong against you, but that you're still saying that you're innocent. You just know that it's not in your favor. Is the Alford plea. So there's not enough evidence though. I mean, but you also see the way the world's reacted. We've seen everything. We heard what Bill Thompson was going to put out in court. He was told by Hippler to present to the courtroom what was going to be said if this would have gone to trial. What would be your opening statement have been? In his opening statement, he openly admits that there's no connections between Kohberger and the residence or the house. He openly admits that they actually can't put him in the area. That was going to be said at trial. But at least it would have maintained Kohberger's innocence and maybe even left some other doors open. I don't know. I don't know. But the whole point was to take like the death penalty off of the table completely, in my opinion. Because if he already saw the way the world was reacting, if his family already saw the way the world was reacting, you need to remember, they said that he met with his parents and psychologists all right before this happened. So if there was discussions, private discussions between him and his family, and he decided, hey, they're going to kill me. They literally brought in the fire squad just to kill me faster. The world thinks that I did this. It doesn't matter what we've tried to fight. The judge is saying no to everything. Look what they denied. Look what they denied. Ethan's hand having hair in it. The judge didn't care. Ann Taylor wasn't going to be able to use anything in way of cross-examination. The only way that she could get anything was through cross-examination. She wasn't going to be allowed to present any of her own witnesses in way of alternate perpetrators or anything. If they were called in and they were already had a purpose, then she could ask them questions. Other than that, shit out of luck. So to me, if you're sitting there and you're Kohberger and you didn't do anything and you're sitting here trying to figure out how to not get shot, you're probably going to take an Alford plea. Is probably the way you're going to go. Well, obviously, that's not the way that it wound up. So a plea happened anyway because an Alford plea got introduced. And I guess there was just like no going back after that. But for Steve to sit there and admit they wanted an Alford plea first, that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. That changes a lot. And honestly, it probably explains why Turvey got 3 different answers from Ann Taylor about what happened. There's going to be so much shit that comes out from behind the scenes. It's going to be a whirlwind, even for those of us that have been following along and kind of have like a clue. Yeah, it's going to be crazy once we start getting real info. This is wild. How insane. Okay.
We saw it in the Chris Watts case, and I like it, particularly in federal court. The judges will say, tell me in your own words what you did. And that way it takes away any doubt whatsoever.
Yeah, we wanted that too. And it would have been easy because
and remember what happened. What did the judge say? The judge was appalled that so many people were calling and leaving voicemails, calling his personal phone, calling the offices. Even some threats had to be forwarded over to the police, which I plan on FOIA-ing those eventually here. That had to be about this. We don't know what the hell they were discussing in their little private groups. They've got all kinds of social media little cult things that they have discussions in. A lot of them. So there's no telling the conversations that were being had behind the scenes before the public actually knew what was going on.
The way that Kaylee was killed, he would have given an explanation that an expert would say, yeah, that fits. That is the weapon that's missing. That fits the damage. And only the person who did this would know that, or an investigator. Yeah. But for Thompson to gaslight the whole community and say, oh, well, there's no way for us to know he's telling the truth. Like, don't lie in my face. Yeah, I'm not the family you're going to get away with this. You lied in my face. And I literally told him multiple times, I will go to the meeting and I will tell everyone what you did. And I will hold you accountable for it. So that's what I'm doing right now, talking. I told you, you have the right way to do it, and you can do it another way. And he did it the other way. So now I'm here saying, you gaslit everyone. You lied in our face. You could have got the truth. You were just lazy. Or
I need to listen to all of that rambling all over again. He's everywhere. He is so everywhere. Thank you for the $2, which he was. Happy ID 4-Day 12.95 to all who celebrate. What is that? What does that mean? Is there an Independence Day for somebody's country right now? I don't know what that means. Help me understand. Is that a holiday somewhere? Thank you for the $2 though. Yeah, he's saying a lot of stuff here. Because like he's saying, oh, that's why I'm out here talking now. You're doing an impromptu interview with a guy that you just happened to pass in the hallway, for one, Steve. Or uno. For two, when a lot of stuff gets brought up, you skirt stuff. When stuff about the law that just got passed, the bill got passed, you didn't want to answer any questions because you didn't know anything about it. Olivia's got something going on people need to be paying attention to. The family needs to be watching that and handling that. There's a situation. I don't care. The way that she was cutting eyes at her kid, the way that she is, there's a lot of health issues, I think, there. There's a lot of health issues, I think, there. They need to be maybe paying a little bit more attention. But he's just kind of like rambling. I don't understand what he's trying to say. Because you're not out here talking. You're not out here to like trying to sue the state. You're not out here fighting with Moscow. You're not out here fighting with Latah County. You're not out here fighting with Bill Thompson. You're out here trying to get millies from the university where Kohberger was a TA. So what do you mean you threatened Thompson that if he did this, you were going to be out here doing this, that, and the third? You're not doing anything. You're over there playing games in Washington. You're not doing shit to Idaho. What do you mean?
And this is my own. We saw it in the Watts case, and I like it, particularly in federal court. The judges will say, tell me in your own words what you did. And that way it takes away any doubt whatsoever.
Yeah, I wanted that too. And it would have been easy because of the way that Kaylee was killed. He would have given an explanation that an expert would say, yeah, that fits. That is the weapon that's missing. That fits the damage. And only the person who did this would know that, or an investigator. Yeah. But for Thompson to gaslight the whole community and say, oh, well, there's no way for us to know he's telling the truth.
That's actually like a really great voice. It didn't sound nothing like Thompson, but that was kind of cool. You know, I said the same thing. They're blaming it on an FBI profiler. Thompson has been asked this question 1,000 times, and his answer is always the same script. Some FBI profiler from 2 weeks in. So way before they even had any of the IGG stuff sent to the FBI, all three of them was still doing whatever. Like before they had anything, some profiler told, according to Thompson, told them that whoever did this were going to be so just completely out of their minds that no answer they could provide or description that they could give could be trusted, that you could never be able to tell if the person was telling the truth or not, that nothing that they say was going to make any sense to a normal person's mind. So there's literally no reason to even question the person. When we find out who this person is, just don't even bother wasting your time. That's what Thompson said the feds told them. The profiler told them. Ain't that crazy as shit? Ain't that crazy as shit? Crazy as shit. Hey, Moonvale. How you doing? How you doing? 19 months is a super long time. Thank you for being a member for so long. Thank you for the $4.99, Kim. This interview is crazy. I just can't believe it. Like, this is insane, the stuff that they are saying. And it has nothing to do with how I feel. Like, y'all know how I feel about them. But they are legitimately just saying, like, the wackiest shit here. The wackiest. Thank you for the $13.99, Jennifer. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. This is just some crazy stuff. Very just wacky. I guess that's the word. The wacky stuff.
Like, don't lie in my face. I'm not the family. You're going to get away with this. You lied in my face, and I literally told him multiple times, I will go to the meeting, and I will tell everyone what you did, and I will hold you accountable for it. So that's what I'm doing right now, talking. I told you, you have the right way to do it, and you can do it another way. And he did it the other way. So now I'm here saying, you gaslit everyone. You lied in our face. You could have got the truth. You were just lazy, or you had other motives. I think his true motives.
So then I question, okay, so if he wanted an Alford plea, is that the only reason why he's saying that Thompson would have been lazy? Because there's no, like, details? I mean, if Kohberger's innocent, he has no details for you, Steve. So there's that too. Like, if he honestly, truly has nothing to do with anything, he can't answer anything. He's answered everything he could. And Kohberger's story is the only one that has stayed consistent. Up until this plea that went completely left, he is the only thing in this entire case that has been constant, that hasn't changed. What other cases can you say that for the damn defendant? For the person that's been accused and now convicted of a quadruple homicide or any homicide in general, what case can you say that the most honest and consistent side of the entire thing was the suspects? That shit's crazy. Steve has to see this. But I think that he is so dug into his own holes that he has created that he really can't do shit besides keep driving himself crazy. Look at how he's talking. I understand the grief. I get it. I'm not going to pretend like it's not there just because I don't like the guy. What is happening here? You know, it's crazy because Kristi said that when all this was going on and she was a whole mess, that Steve was like real strong for her and there for her and blah, blah, blah. And now she seems okay. Not like okay, obviously, but she seems okay. And now Steve seems to be losing his shit. And Kristi doesn't seem to be really paying attention, does she? It seems like she's more concerned about the CrimeCon and the things that she can do with all this attention. She's not really paying attention to Steve losing his shit. Am I wrong? I mean, that's what it seems like. He's everywhere, a lot more than normal.
The other way, and he did it the other way. So now I'm here saying, you gaslit everyone. You lied in our face. You could have got the truth. You were just lazy, or you had other motives. I think his true motives were he ran the risk of him saying, yeah, I stalked those girls 23 times. I did this right in front of your faces. And you guys all look like idiots. I stalked him. I got right up there. I got into the house. And then he would have had to go tell the university every single time he did is documented now. This murder just went 23 times different stalking events. And now it's just going to just make us look super unsafe. And they're like,
he's just making shit up. He's just making shit up.
23 times. I did this, the truth. You were just lazy, or you had other motives. I think his true motives were he ran.
Oh, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships, Wellington. I appreciate that. Thank you. Congratulations to those who got those. He is a little everywhere. See what I mean? He's all over
the risk to gaslit everyone. You lied in our face. You could have got the truth. You were just lazy. Or you had other motives. I think his true motives were he ran the risk of him saying, yeah, I stalked those girls 23 times. I did this right in front of your faces. And you guys all look like idiots. I stalked him. I got right up there. I got into the house. And then he would have had to go tell the university every single time he did his documented now. You just got this murder just.
So he's saying that the reason why Thompson went this direction, and he's blaming a profiler for saying that they can't ask Kohberger any questions, is because Kohberger is going to come out and admit and show them on the map all the different times that he was in the neighborhood stalking the girls and they couldn't figure out any of it. That's what he's making up in his mind. That's what he's creating. The same way that he has created so much bullshit and so much misinformation in this case, he is now creating this entire scenario in his mind that he thinks Kohberger would have said. Because this is what he wants Kohberger to have said. He wants him to have some sort of answer to all of these things. He doesn't. He doesn't. So he's going to create it so that he can be mad on something that's not true, something that's not real. That's what he's doing.
Went 23 times different stalking events, and now it's just going to just make us look super unsafe. And they're like, don't even talk to him. Zip it.
Wrecked it.
We got enough.
It got wrecked.
Put it to bed.
He was the one who wrecked it, either him or the daughter. But
If you got
I think it was Steve. It's wrecked. I don't know.
5
if it's still
minutes
drivable.
with him, with Kohberger, what would you say or do?
I wouldn't talk at all. I'd just start tearing up,
Pounding on him?
pounding. Yeah.
I get it. If
Mhm.
that was my daughter, I'd do the same thing too.
Yeah, that guy has it coming. He's got it. And word is, it's coming.
He's literally telling the world he knows there's a hit on Kohberger's life. Listen to his words.
Pounding. Yeah.
I get it. If
Mhm.
that was my daughter, I'd do the same thing too.
Yeah, that guy has it coming. He's got it. And word is, it's coming.
Listen to the next statement.
He's not going to make it to be an old man in prison. I mean, eventually he's going to get out of his.
You heard that? He doesn't learn. This guy does not learn. He does not learn. Thank you for the 20, Inga Brett. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. He needs a visit to the woodshed. Seriously, this is just crazy. He says the most wildly outlandish things and just out there on TV.
Yeah, that guy has it coming. He's got it. And word is, it's coming.
What word, Steve? What inmate are you talking to in the prison? How many are on your payroll? How many are you calling on a daily basis to get information? That's crazy.
Pounding. Yeah.
I get it. If that was my daughter, I'd do the same thing too.
Yeah, that guy has it coming. He's got it. And word is, it's coming.
He's not going to.
See, like, it's one thing to be like, I'd beat the shit out of him. I get it. Valid answer. If you were in the room by yourself and you really thought that he was the guy, I get it. I get that. But then to say the next part, that's crazy. That takes away a lot of the emotional answer of a parent. And now it's like conspiracy because you obviously have heard something, Steve. That's a crime, sir.
I get it. If that was my daughter, I'd do the same thing too.
Yeah, that guy has it coming. He's got it. And word is, it's coming.
He's not going to make it to be an old man in prison. I mean, eventually he's going to get out of his little protective custody and requesting his vegan meals and all that good stuff.
Gin Pop's going to be a pop of some sort. And,
Gin Pop is going to be a pop of some sort. I did not catch him to say that the last time. Oh my God. Did y'all hear that? I did not hear that the first time. One more time. What the hell?
Old man in prison. I mean, eventually he's going to get out of his little protective custody and requesting his vegan meals and all that good stuff.
Gin Pop's going to be a pop of some sort. And, he picked.
That's twice. Steve. Where is Shannon? Shannon Gray. Where the frick are you, sir? Where's these people's babysitter? Oh my God. This is crazy. Thank you for the 5. She's just a double woman. It's hilarious how everyone thinks prisoners are superheroes in this scenario. They're in there for doing terrible things as well. No joke. And that's hilarious because they're counting on people that are just like how they think Kohberger is to like fix the problem for them. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. I can't believe he's just out here saying this crazy shit.
Eventually, he's going to get out of his little protective custody and requesting his vegan meals and all that good stuff.
Gin Pop's going to be a pop of some sort. And
Kristi, get your man. Kristi, where are you? She's going to take to come back. She comes back at the end, but damn, Kristi, where are you, bro? This is Steve. Oh, guys. I told y'all, wild, but I did not realize. We're going to listen to this whole part one more time. That's just crazy.
You're saying you gaslit everyone. You lied in our face. You could have got the truth. You were just lazy or you had other motives. I think his true motives were he was going, he ran the risk of him saying, yeah, I stalked those girls 23 times. I did this right in front of your faces. And you guys all look like idiots. I stalked him. I got right up there. I got into the house. And then he would have had to go tell the university every single time he did is documented now.
Every time.
You just got, this murder just went 23 times different stalking events. And now it's just going to just make us look super unsafe. And they're like, don't even talk to him. Zip it.
Crazy.
We got enough. Put it to bed.
If you got 5 minutes with him, with Kohberger, what would you say or do?
I wouldn't talk at all. I'd just start tearing up.
Pounding on him?
Pounding. Yeah.
I get it. That was my daughter. I'd do the same thing too.
Yeah, that guy has it coming.
Like I said, I get that. I get you're in the room for 5 minutes alone with the person that just said that they killed your daughter. I understand that. But bro, I cannot believe he said these things.
He's got to end. Word is it's coming.
He's not going to make it to be an old man in prison. I mean, eventually he's going to get out of his little protective custody and requesting his vegan meals and all that good stuff.
Gin Pop's going to be a pop of some sort. And
I told y'all his family watches. I'm sure they're going to act accordingly.
You know, he picked on a small community. You thought we were a bunch of idiots. You came from the city. You came out here and I've heard about his research paper that he did on the community because there was another murder in there and they never caught him. So he went there. He thought he had the right place. He picked them. And
he picked that area. No, he was recommended for something from a professor. He didn't pick that area. It got put in his face as an option. Sir, come on.
He's going to find out. He's going to find out if they're the right community or not.
Yeah. And well, I'm so sorry for your loss. I couldn't imagine, I've got a daughter, Annika, she's basically a stepdaughter. I mean, I couldn't imagine, she was college age when all this went down. She was in college.
Albrightsville is not a city. Albrightsville, PA. Census. Oh my God. Y'all, I didn't realize. Are y'all ready? What? Okay, are y'all ready to see this? I've never checked the census for Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. As of 2020, Albrightsville, Pennsylvania only has 138 residents. It's considered a small community. So no, he's from a village. I knew it was tiny, but holy shit, I did not know. 140 people at max. So no, he's definitely not from a city. Home dude is from a village. That's wild, Steve. Come on, bro. Come on, Steve. Come on, Kristi. Get your dude. What is happening? This is crazy. This is crazy. Oh my God.
University of Arizona. Arizona. Wow, that's a really good one too.
So yeah. I mean,
breeze down to Baylor. I think they play against Arizona. Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, I couldn't imagine. And you exercise, frankly, a lot of restraint.
In my head, I was doing all kinds of stuff.
I know, but it's not worth it. No.
Yeah. I was like,
you're gonna do more good now.
Yeah,
than
and
you
that's
ever
what
could
we
do
got
by jumping the railing and taking a couple of cracks.
Exactly.
I understand you wanted to, and you're
I
justified in
had
doing
some
it.
crazy ones. I mean, I had like drones and all kinds of things. I was like, but that's what it takes you to when you see things not being done, and you're like,
You had drones for what, sir? What were you going to do with these drones,
I was like,
Steve?
you're gonna do more good now.
Yeah,
than
and
you
that's
ever
what
could
we
do
gotta
by
do.
jumping the railing and taking a couple of cracks.
Exactly.
I understand you wanted to, and you're justified
I
in
had
doing
some
it.
crazy ones. I mean, I had like drones and all kinds of things. I was like, that's what it takes when you see things not being done, and you're like, just being a victim. It just sucks. It's just hell to go
What the hell were you going to do with the drone, Steve?
through. And I'm glad it's over. I'm glad that we got to him, and the community rallied, and everyone demanded, that we got answers, and we got them. And it was a shared responsibility. We had the
You didn't
FBI
give me
coming in there. We had
answers.
private labs.
Thanks for the 10. She's just a devil woman. So is Steve admitting that they plan to poison him? Why mention vegan meals? And you've made my night jewels in chat. Yeah, this is crazy. I'm glad we went over this instead of the documents, because the documents were going to be so freaking boring. This is crazy. I cannot believe. I don't know. Like, are they going to injure him? Are they going to sneak a weapon in and actually pop him? Like, is there a plan? Because it sure freaking sounds like he has a plan. Like something's been discussed. Doesn't he know that literally carries a sentence? Like, he has to know that carries a sentence. Oh man, like this is just wacky. Wackadoodle.
Too, when you see things not being done, and you're like, just being a victim. It just sucks. It's just hell to go through. And I'm glad it's over. I'm glad that we got to him, and the community rallied, and everyone demanded, that we got answers, and we got them. And it was.
But you didn't. You just said 5 minutes ago that you still don't have answers. See, he keeps going back and forth because he doesn't know where to turn. He's already said so many things and done so much shit that he's stuck. I've said this for a while now, that I feel like Steve is mentally stuck because he doesn't know how to express what's actually going on while keeping the bullshit that he's put out there. I feel like he's literally stuck.
Shared responsibility. We had the FBI coming in there. We had private labs coming in there. We had multiple states. It was a beautiful thing in the big picture of how they responded, and we got to the truth. But it was very difficult, and that's why our organization is taking the worst moments of that and saying, okay, we take a case that was abandoned because IGG didn't exist at the time, and go relook at those,
and that's
and
great.
get that lead investigator to resubmit it. And then we just complete the circle that this is all their own work. We're just helping fund it. We're not trying to take over an investigation. We're not hotshots. We don't know anything. We're using our mics to help you get the funding to help that family, so then they get answers.
You're making a difference.
That's exactly Kernodle's name.
Where can people go to support your organization?
We got a webpage, and it's Murders right here. You can see it. And
Murder has a name.
Murder has a name, because people nowadays want to censor themselves, pew pew and unaliving, and we're like, you know what? It grabs your attention, and it's hard. Like you said, if we sanitize everything, these kids that.
Thanks for the 199, Sheila. Let me go see. I'll leave this up. Let it play. Let me go look.
These school shootings, they don't ever see the ugly side of doing this behavior. They see girls sending them and them getting all this popularity and all this attention, and we're creating an environment that breeds bad things. And as a parent, I'm trying to say, hey, how do we make these guys look like the monsters that they are?
Well, and like I said, that's why I said I understand and appreciate trying to keep the photos, but.
Okay, so charges for threats of life in Idaho. It's actually kind of interesting the way that they're wording it, because the way that this case was utilized, it was very much utilized for political reasons, not just to change the way that they did things for the death penalty in order for them to start implicating the firing squad and all the funding that got approved for that, but also when it comes to several different bills that got passed, and also the way that they ended up changing the complete infrastructure for the defense system, for the public defender system. This case had a lot of weight on a lot of things. So I think that this would be technically like a political type situation, I guess, just based on the way that they sort of used it. So charges for threats of life in Idaho. In Idaho, threats of life are generally prosecuted under Idaho Code 181353, which criminalizes threats and other improper influence in official and political matters. Him saying that kind of shit on national TV is like an influence to anyone who has access to this. And we know they have tablets and they can pay for all this time and blah, 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 whatever. Him saying that kind of shit is definitely influencing people and being like, oh, well, that's what the families want, so let's just give it to them. You should not be out here saying this kind of stuff. You should not be out here saying this kind of stuff. Threatens under 1353(1), an offense occurs if a person threatens unlawful harm to any person with the purpose of influencing their decision, opinion, recommendation. Okay, well, that's like political, like vote, actually. Threatens harm to a public servant. Threatens harm to a public servant. No. Charges. What are charges for conspiracy? Because that's what it is. Like if there's multiple people that like are talking about something and planning something, it's definitely more of a conspiratorial charge. In Idaho, criminal conspiracy is defined under Idaho Code 18701. Open that up. If two or more persons combine or conspire to commit any crime or offense prescribed by Idaho law, and one or more of them does any act to affect the object of the combination or conspiracy, each is punishable in the same manner or to the same extent as if they had committed the crime or offense themselves. So if he is in talks with some inmate who's going to take Kohberger's life or attempt to take Kohberger's life, and they can prove that it's a conspiracy because they had conversations with each other, then Steve could technically also get a murder charge. So there's that. Keep talking, Steve. Keep talking, Steve. Dude is dumb. What are you doing, bro? Come on.
Look like the monsters that they are.
Well, and like I said, that's why I understand and appreciate, trying to keep the photos, but some of those need to be shown so that people can see what evil can do. And like I said, no disrespect to you or the other victims, but people need to see that and say, one time you want to go soft on something like this, this is what happened. This was not it was an accident. This was violence. It was personal.
It was very
years
personal.
In the making.
And methodical.
Years in the making. Where do you get that
so,
from?
like I said, evil exists.
Mm-hmm.
Evil exists.
It does.
People need to know it. They need to stop acting like, we're going to, like you said, sanitize everything and, we're going to make sure we have. Well, a fair trial is the truth coming out. And so
we went and we.
Why are you talking about a fair trial and the truth coming out? Again, this guy does not give a shit enough about this case to even retain simple information. Why do you keep saying stuff that has nothing to do with the way that this went? Can you at least attempt while you're talking to a parent of one of the deceased? Can you attempt a little? Like, come on, no, give a shit.
Like, we're gonna, like you said, sanitize everything, and we're gonna make sure we have. Well, fair trial is the truth coming out.
Shut up,
and so,
dude.
We went into legal libraries. We got the special legal AI, and we said, has there ever been a case that couldn't go because they couldn't find an unbiased jury? And it's never even happened.
That had nothing to do with this. That was handled. The venue was changed. That has nothing to do with this. What are we doing?
It's never happened. You can get a biased jury where they come in there with a preconceived motivation of like writing a book or something like that.
Not a bad question, considering that for the first time in their entire relationship, he gets sick and ends up in the emergency room with something that can be extremely stress and anxiety induced and very painful and leave a mark on his face right at around, I'm going to assume, the same time that the murders were taking place, according to what Kristi slipped up and said in an interview about 2 years after the murders took place. And remember, they also did not leave and go to Moscow. What would be stressing you out, Steve, in the middle of the night, in the same exact night that your daughter and her best friend and her roommate and her roommate's boyfriend get just completely slaughtered and killed, what could possibly stress you out before you know that there's a problem to cause you to go into the emergency room that morning, Steve? We've been hella curious to know the answers to that. You know, hella curious.
Definitely happened, but there's never been a case.
Well, I talk about that all the time. You know, in short, it should have been a change of venue. It made complete sense. And you know, obviously moving into the Capitol.
According to Kristi herself, we've gone over it several times. I know that we've had the clip and we've gone over it in videos, so I don't have it to like just pull up right now. But yes, in an interview, she's sitting in a chair, he's sitting next to her, and she damn straight says it. And she says it just like that. And it was the first time in their entire over 20-year relationship that he's ever had to go to the emergency room. And it just so happened to be that night. Our minds were blown. Because why didn't we know that if it was so innocent? And B, were you supposed to say that? Because that's crazy. It really is crazy. You take into consideration all of their behaviors, everything that we know. That's crazy shit. Crazy shit.
Well, there was going to be easier to find it. But you're not going to find people who didn't. The requirement is you don't have to find people that lived under a rock and have never heard about the case. It's just that they can go into with an open mind, listen to the evidence, reserve judgment till they hear all the evidence, follow the court's instructions, and make a decision if the prosecution proved their case. And like I said, the defense knew they were going to prove their case. Otherwise, there never would have been an offer of let's make a deal.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're not going to revisit the Alford plea statement, sir, Mr. Lawyer Man? Interesting.
It got to the moment of truth. They're going to kill you. We got the shooting squad because we found out about how they have a protocol where you don't drink water for like 48 hours, don't eat any food, your veins collapse. So the guy in Idaho has they've been trying to put him down since the 80s, and he's found a way around it. He's hacked the system. So we're like, got to do something because we're going to look like idiots. We can't put this guy down. So they did the firing squad and they updated the laws and we did everything. But then we just got to one moment where he bailed out. You know, they
politicized the absolute shit out of this case. The school did too. Remember the little memorial that the school was told was only supposed to be for the 1122 victims? So they used their name and their faces and the families and used them at the banquets for the fundraising. And then the thing gets built and there's like all these other people's names on it too. And Kristi made a comment about it. I mean, yeah, it's great. Go ahead and do something for everyone. That's great. That's fine. No one cares. But when you came out and you gave it a false everything, like you came out and said that it was very specifically for this set of 4 people, and then it turned out that it was for everyone, and you used the popularity of that case to get all that funding that you probably otherwise wouldn't have. Let's be serious. Let's be serious. Everyone politicized this case. Every single one. Insane.
Down. So they did the firing squad and they updated the laws and we did everything. But then we just got to one moment where he bailed out. You know, I can only say that we tried everything.
You guys are making a difference. Sorry, it had to go through all this to do that. But like I said, I couldn't imagine.
Oh, now she shows up. Now she shows up. You're late. I bet you she has no freaking clue because this happened today. This happened today. They're probably still hanging out drinking with some of these damn YouTubers. I know that JLR got kicked out, but he probably hung around. And we know, regardless of what Kristi wants to lie about, that they're friends with freaking JLR. We have the photos. We have the post of him being with them at bars and at their house. We have the photos of the selfies and the arms around the necks. Okay, we have all the proof. They're probably out drinking with people right now, and she has no damn clue all the crazy shit that he just said. Shannon, where are you? Shannon Gray is going to have a field day when he gets a hold of the shit that Steve said in this interview. Oh, my God.
Burying a child, that's my worst nightmare. I've got, I just couldn't imagine. But
how many kids?
I've 2 of my own, 2 girls, and then 3 with Kristen here, and so
adopted her.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things where you just couldn't imagine.
Yeah, right? Kaylee was like our adopted. We took her out of the country.
Maddie.
Maddie.
Kaylee was our
I'm sorry, Steve, it is my opinion that you were either highly over-medicated or highly over-intoxicated. Because what did you just say? What did you just say? Did he just say that? Did he just say A? Did he say Kaylee was their adopted kid?
My worst nightmare. I've got, it's I just couldn't imagine. But
How many kids?
I've got
both
two
yours
of my
are.
own, and then three with Kristen here, and
You
so
adopted her.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things where they couldn't imagine.
Yeah,
Right?
Kaylee was like our.
Kaylee was like our adopted kid.
I've got two of my own, and then three with Kristen here.
You adopted her.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things where they couldn't imagine.
Yeah,
Right?
Kaylee was like our adopted. We took her out of country.
Maddie.
Maddie.
Kaylee was our child.
She was kind of adopted.
Maddie was,
Maddie.
yeah. So it,
That's crazy. That's crazy. Thanks for the $4.99, Shelly. Why don't all the channels on YouTube that have proven Kohberger not guilty put money together and get him a new attorney or contact the Innocence Project? Until Ann Taylor is no longer his attorney, there's nothing anybody can do about anything. And it's improper to raise money for someone who's not asking you to. There was a channel, that Phoenix Talks chick, that was trying to raise money. You don't raise money for someone who doesn't know that you're raising money for them. You don't raise money for someone unless you have their permission to do so. You just don't. You can't trust that kind of thing. It has to have a beneficiary. It has to have a place to go. If and when that's something that they want to do, we will be rallying behind it. Yes, we will. I'm sure we'll figure out a way to do some sort of big live and help do some sort of fundraiser thing. We'll figure it out when the time comes. But until we actually can, we can't. And don't trust people that are just willy-nilly raising money for things if you don't know that that's what the person wants. So until we actually hear that from the family or him himself or something else changes where Ann Taylor is no longer in the picture, we really can't do a lot. We really just can't. That's the stupid part about all of this, is that we have so many things that we can talk about, but until certain things happen that way, none of it matters. It can make enough noise if enough people care to listen, but the longer that this goes on and things in court don't change, the less people give a shit about what we have to say. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. Thanks for the $9.99, Katie. Random, but the condition Steve had, Ramsey Hunt, I see in ER as a physician's assistant, a PA, and causes facial paralysis. Did he ever have a facial droop in his early interviews? Not that I noticed. But I also don't think that we saw him until after the memorial. And see, okay, so you guys know how I said, well, for the majority of you guys know how I said that I would like to get Jeff and Jasmine's interview, but that I wouldn't ever want to be the first person to release one of the parents' interviews, because that's different. When it's the parent, I really don't want to put that stuff out there. That's really emotional. There's lines that you guys know that I just won't cross, okay? But I want the interview because I need to clarify what they say about when they actually last talked to Xana, because Jeff holds on to this thing about it being Saturday night. He said it 1.5 million times, and the report says that it was Friday night on both ends, okay? In the same way that I want the damn interview to clarify timelines, but not to cross the line and put it out there to the public, I want if there is any in existence, the body cam that might have been worn at the death notice, because I want to see Steve's damn face for that reason, because it apparently leaves like a rash, and I want to see it. I want to see what he looked like that day. I don't want to put the video out there. I'll put a damn screenshot that shows his face if I ever get it, if it does exist. I wouldn't want to put that out there. That's the family being told things. Granted, they already knew what was going on, but that's still just a line I wouldn't cross. But I want to see his damn face. It's a very strange story, and we know that they didn't go to Moscow. Why didn't they go to Moscow? Because Steve didn't want the cops to see this huge mark on his face? I mean, what other questions are we going to think besides that, when that's what we're being told by Kristi, that was the situation that took place? You don't go You sit in your living room, you've got all these adults in your house because you're watching football. You're getting calls from your niece named Sabrina, that's an actual relative, telling you all these crazy things. You're seeing the house on the news. You can't get a hold of anyone. You don't go. Why, Steve? Because you had marks on your face? Like, what else are we supposed to think? Something was being hidden for a reason. I don't know. The first time I remember seeing Steve was during the memorial stuff that was public. When he shot Jack those eyes. We all know the look he gave Jack that day. But I don't remember them being on interviews before that. I could be wrong. I have to go back and look. But that's damn sure what she said. That's damn sure what Kristi said. I remember the like, what? That we all felt when she said that shit. Because that was definitely out of nowhere. Out of nowhere.
You know, it's crazy how things happen. You know, we don't know why it happened in Moscow, Idaho, why it happened to our daughter, why it happened to her house. You know, we'll never know, but it's our life now. Our lives are changed.
That's one time I did go after Thompson really hard, where they warned me. I said, I'll tell you what, motherfucker. If I find out.
He just cussed. He said MFer. He's drunk. There's no way he's not drunk. There's no way.
It's our life now. Our lives are changed.
That's one time I did go after Thompson really hard, where they warned me. I said, I'll tell you what, motherfucker. If I find out what he did, and I find it in a book, and he prophesied, I'm going to come find you. And they're like, Steve. And I said, all right, so we're going to have a talk. I'll come.
If Kohberger writes a book and I find out what happens to Kaylee in a book, I'm coming after you, is what he said to Thompson. So he's just threatening everybody. He's threatening everybody. Oh my God. He's got it. Kristi, you allowed him to talk like this in front of the camera? Oh my God.
You know, we'll never know, but it's our life now. Our lives are changed.
That's one time I did go after Thompson really hard, where they warned me. I said, I'll tell you what, motherfucker. If I find out what he did, and I find it in a book, and he prophesied, I'm going to come find you. And they're like, Steve. And I said, all right, so we're going to have a talk. I'll come talk to him.
Yeah.
Because he's like, Steve, you're never going to get this. You're never going to find the truth. He's never going to tell us what I did. And I said, you don't know this case like I do. He's already went to a place where he learned about BTK, making a book, did it with the girl that taught the class, and then she put the money on his books. And guess what? He's got $40,000 on his books today. And
he has $40,000 on his books.
We can't touch. And he's going to write.
What about the civil fine that the court imposed?
Hold all the F's on. I'm so confused right now. We're going to listen to that part again. Okay. So we know from the hearing that there was a large sum of money that was placed on Kohberger's books. I don't remember the amount. If you guys remember, put it in the chat. But it was said in court. I don't remember what it was. He just said that Kohberger found out about the BTK guy writing the book with the professor, and then how the BTK guy, because that's like the inference, the context clues, got money put on his books. And then he went from that to Kohberger having $40,000 in his books. Who remembers the amount that was said in court? I don't remember if an exact amount was said. This is all, but he goes from talking about it being BTK to suddenly it's Kohberger. Like, listen.
I do. He's already went to a place where he learned about BTK, making a book, did it with the girl that taught the class, and then she put money on his books. And guess what? He's got $40,000 on his books today. And
he has $40,000 on his books.
We can't touch. And he's gonna write.
What about the civil fine that the court imposed? They can't garnish that.
That he owes us.
See, so he's saying Kohberger learned about BT. This is what he said from like the beginning, though. He's always used BTK, ever since he found out about Ramslin and Bryan taking that class of hers, he's always used BTK as his little reference here. Always, for years now. He's going from saying that BTK wrote a book and that book went through the professor and he wrote it with the professor and that professor doing whatever and putting money with BTK to now somehow it's Bryan's money. Y'all hear that, right? Like he's just sliding into every subject he can.
I'll come talk to him.
Yeah.
Because he's like, see, you're never going to get this. You're never going to find the truth. He's never going to tell us what I did. And I said, you don't know this case like I do. He's already went to a place where he learned about BTK, making a book,
where he
did it
learned
with
about
the
it.
girl that taught the class, and then she put the money on his books. And guess what? He's got $40,000 on his books today. And
He has $40,000 on his books.
$40,000 we can't touch. And
That we can't touch. I'm sorry. There is no way in actual shit I would ever want a hot damn dime from the person that I thought killed my kid. I would have not wanted them to pay for my damn kid's funeral expenses. I would not have taken them back to court for even more funeral money. That's crazy to me. Why would you want that dirty money paying for your child if you really think that the guy is guilty? So instantly, whatever the hell Steve is talking about, it just goes to them being mad that they can't access it. Eeh. Talk about freaking cringy. I hate that word, but if there was ever an appropriate place for it.
and then she put the money on his books. And guess what? He's got $40,000 on his books today. And
He has $40,000 on his books.
$40,000 we can't touch. And he's going to write.
What about the civil fine that the court imposed? They can't garnish that?
that he owes us?
Yeah.
Yeah. They can't touch that. The commissary. It has to be money that he earns in prison. So when he starts working or gets
He
a
can
job
use that for legal representation, and we can't take away his rights to get his own legal representation. So if he says,
what the frick? He's drunk, bro. Listen to his words.
$40,000 on his books.
we can't touch. And he's going to write.
What about the civil fine that the court imposed? They can't garnish that?
that he owes us?
Yeah.
Yeah. They can't touch that. The commissary. It has to be money that he earns in prison. So when he starts working or gets
He
a
can
job
use that for legal representation, and we can't take
Legal resuscitation. He said legal resuscitation.
Garnish that?
that he owes us?
Yeah.
Yeah. They can't touch that. The commissary. It has to be money that he earns in prison. So when he starts working or gets
He
a
can
job
use that for legal representation, and we can't.
He's drunk. He's got to be drunk.
Take away his rights to get his own legal representation. So if he says, I'm using that money to fund my appeal.
There's nothing. He
waived us.
Yeah, wait.
See, and this is another thing. This is an attorney not being honest with him that there are still ways for Kohberger to file an appeal. Turvey knows it. Chris Whitcomb knows it. We know it. And Jeanette Levy knows it. Several people know that. And this guy is going to go along with the, oh, he waived that bullshit instead of being an honest person and telling them which they probably already know. Let's be serious. There's no way that they don't know he still has ways to do things. They just like to be able to say that he doesn't have any options to appeal. It sounds better to them.
Because they can't garnish that?
That he owes us?
Yeah.
Yeah. They can't touch that. The commissary. It has to be money that he earns in prison. So when he starts working or gets a job.
He can use that for legal representation, and we take away his rights to get his own legal representation. So if he says, I'm using that money to fund my appeal.
There's nothing. He
waived us.
Yeah, waived the appellate rights. Which is there's nothing to appeal when you plead guilty. You give up all those rights. That's why the judge engages in that colloquy.
Yeah,
Are you
like,
sure
just
with
keep
what you're
talking,
doing?
bro.
Are you understand the rights you have?
Kristi is not watching her husband. Like, seriously, do you even care about this man? Like, I know that you are hearing the things that he is saying, and you are just, girl. I'm just a different kind of wife, bro. Damn, I'm a whole different type. I would not be allowing my dude to be embarrassing himself like this in front of a live ass camera. Oh my God.
Appellate rights. Which is
No matter the subject, okay? Like, come on, this is bad.
There's nothing to appeal when you plead guilty. You give up all those rights. That's why the judge engages in that colloquy.
Yeah.
Are you sure it was what you're doing? Are you understand the rights you have? No going to be. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why they do that. So you can't come back and say,
I think so.
oh, I didn't do it. Only thing you can say is,
You can see how red her cheeks and her neck are. That's how I get when I've been drinking. When my blood pressure's high or when I've been drinking, my cheeks get all red right here. My chin gets red, and look at her neck. Can y'all see how red she is? Oh yeah. This is
my
crazy.
attorneys weren't effective, and that's never going to fly.
Yeah, and that's why we never have a tactical.
I'm telling you.
Well, that new book that just came out, that broken plea book, literally really throws Xana under the bus, making her look like just that horrible.
What do you think about that? An expert witness, a paid witness, taking that and then writing a book with it and just making a mockery of the whole fucking system.
See, okay, he cusses again. See, he thinks that the author of the broken plea book is an actual expert witness. Meaning, in Steve's brain, he thinks that Turvey wrote the book. This is after Olivia mimed in a TikTok about how she has all this information. What if I told you I had proof and blah, blah, whatever the frick she said. So Steve doesn't know who the real writer is? What? So y'all been doing this forever about this book. You got your kid out here doing all of this and you don't even know? Sir,
in that colloquy.
Yeah.
Are you sure it was what you're doing? Are you understand the rights you have? There's no going to be. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why they do that. So you can't come
Welcome,
back and
Kim.
say, oh, I didn't do it.
Welcome,
Only thing you can say is my attorneys weren't effective, and that's never going to fly.
Yeah, and that's why we never have a tactical.
I'm telling you.
Well, that new book that just came out, that broken plea book, literally really throws Xana under the bus, making her look like just that horrible.
What do you think about that? An expert witness, a paid witness, taking that and then writing a book with it and just making a mockery of the whole fucking system.
He would never work for me again. I assure you of that.
Right?
Listen.
see? He doesn't even correct him. What is with these people that do these interviews and they don't correct the people that they're talking to? Is that like a no-no? That's crazy.
I've seen a lot of attorneys. I've seen ineffective claims. I've had ineffective claims made against me, and none's ever stuck. That's what they do. They go off to prison. They try to come up with something. My attorney didn't. They didn't explain this to me. I would have made this decision. No, they went to the ends of the earth. They had what, 3-4 attorneys on the team.
You're not going to readdress the Alford plea statement, sir? That's like opportunity number 2. And considering that she acts like she doesn't really like him too much because he plays devil's advocate, you'd think he'd be really playing that up, but maybe he just doesn't care enough to have even caught it.
All the experts, money was not an object. The court said, if you need more money to get this done, we're going to do it.
There wasn't money on our side. I literally talked to the shadow dragon, and he's like, Steve, I had.
Okay, this right here. Okay. This is where he says this shadow dragon guy. Now, this shadow dragon guy is the bullshit company that we went over the Garrett report for. Okay, remember the Garrett report? The guy who took a bunch of not verified information from Steve, okay, and then made up a bunch of shit and try to fake a whole bunch of connections and talk to that forensic frenzy chick. Like, if you've been here for a minute, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We went so deep into this thing, but it's also where we found out how cell phone towers work. By listening to this Gilcher with all this incorrect information, we found out how cell phone towers work. That guy, that's this shadow dragon. Listen to this shit that he says right here. This is I've got so many clips I got to take out. Oh my God. Listen to this shit right here. This stuck out to me even from the background.
Not an object. The court said, if you need more money to get this done, we're going to do it.
There wasn't money on our side. I literally talked to the shadow dragon, and he's like, Steve, I had the connection, but he is not getting my report unless he pays for it, and he refused to pay me.
Shadow Dragon kind of stuck. He wanted $10,000 for it.
And then the Cellbrite people were like, we tried to get him to pay, and he wouldn't pay us, so we just did it for free.
Well, good on Celebrate.
Yeah,
but Celebrite don't have anything. Celebrite has nothing. So they're saying that this shadow dragon guy has all of these connections and all of these pieces that shows that Kohberger's guilty, but he's not going to give it to them for less than $10,000. And then Steve's obviously drunk and lying, in my opinion, drunk and lying and just not all there, obviously, because Celebrite, We just went over their little thingy that they did, where they literally said there was nothing there, that they looked in places and they overlooked in places and they looked in places again and they could not find anything. So cool, they did it for free. They didn't come up with nothing. There was nothing there. Shadow Dragon has all this stuff that can prove what? 10K. Sounds like a regular run-of-the-mill basic bitch little scammer. Does it not? That's crazy. That is crazy. Oh my God. He is saying some off the wall shit. Oh my God. Steve is going to hate himself in the morning, bro.
Dollars for it.
And then the Cellbrite people are like, we tried to get him to pay and he wouldn't pay us. So we just did it for free.
Well, good on Celebrite.
Yeah, but two people saying the same
thing. Yeah, the
thing.
Shadow Dragon guy is like, you know what? Screw that guy. That kind of pisses me off. Like, he literally had information that could blow this case out of the water and was like, I'm not going to give it.
Volunteering could make it to where every case is going to run into that outfit.
This is crazy.
It's done. Yeah. We're going to do it.
It wasn't money on our side. I literally talked to the Shadow Dragon. And he was like, Steve, I had the connection, but he is not getting my report unless he pays for it. And he refused to pay me.
Which Shadow Dragon kind of sucked. He wanted $10,000 for it.
And
so Thompson refused to pay the $10,000?
I had the connection, but he is not getting my report unless he pays for it. And he refused to pay me.
Which Shadow Dragon kind of sucked. He wanted
Thompson. No, Steve's nickname is Dr. Peptide. If you go back to their Venmo history, that's literally his Venmo name is Dr. Peptide. That's Gonzo over there. Yeah. This is some wackadoodle shit. Maybe I need to go to Comic-Con one year, like in complete disguise, and just listen. You know how many other crazy ass conversations are happening about other cases like this right now at CrimeCon? That's some crazy stuff. I think the G's are trying to hold on to justice was done. I think the G's are trying to hold on to justice was done. No, he doesn't feel like justice was done. That's why he's all over the place. They're trying to hold on to something, but not the truth. That's the problem. Thanks for the $4.99, Nunya Biz. Can you post a video in comments or where y'all talked about the Garrett report? It was right before I came active on the channel. Yeah, let me let this play and I'll go find it.
$1,000 for it.
And the Cellbrite people are like, we tried to get him to pay and he wouldn't pay us. So we just did it for free.
Well, good on Cellbrite.
Yeah, but two people saying the same thing.
Yeah, the Shadow Dragon guy is like, you know what? Screw that guy. That kind of pisses me off. Like, he literally had information that could blow this case out of the water and was like, I'm not going to give it.
And could make it to where every case is going to run into that outfit. The prosecutor had it.
Do the right thing.
He could have just went to us and said, go privately fund it. And we could have gotten it done. He's just not the kind. He's not a lead prosecutor.
We get it. You don't like the prosecutor.
I've criticized him. I thought he was a little soft and like
that's some crazy shit, bro. That's some crazy shit. Okay, so there's two videos from a long ass time ago, all the way back in August 2024. This was, I think, before I started doing lives. I'll go check my lives for the video for any videos, but I don't know if I was doing lives yet because at first I was just doing posted videos. So when it comes to the Garrett report, we have this one first. I'm posting these links and I'll keep them open so that I can put them in the description box too. And then we have this one here. Now, the crazy part, let me see if this video is still up. This Forensic Frenzy crazy ass chick, bro. She was in the Goncalves' pub. It's still there. There's a link. In the second link I gave you about Kohberger's social mapping by Garrett Discovery, in that description box is a link to the original interview with the Garrett Discovery guy. Now, there's also a document If you go down in that description box, it should open this up to you right here. Let me see if I can pop it up on the screen. Is it still available? Yeah, it is. Okay, so let me share what this looks like, guys. This is the report that was created by this Garrett Discovery guy for social mapping. It's a bunch of different usernames and different things that he put together. Okay. If you go back into the videos and go back into the original Reddit post that's also in the description box of that video, you'll also see where the Shadow Dragon name comes in. You'll see the links to people on LinkedIn. Shadow Dragon is, I believe, the original name of the program that the guy and another guy created. And there's a lot of different, let me also show y'all what the interview looks like. Comments on LinkedIn about the program from other people that have seen the way the program works. So this is Miss Crazy Lady right here. Again, in the Goncalves' pocket, just like this guy was also very much over there in that camp. This is the Garrett Discovery guy that helped create the Shadow Dragon program. All the links and stuff are in all of those videos that I just sent to you guys in the chat. So if y'all haven't looked at any of that stuff, go in there and listen to those. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of interesting things, but it's all based off of information that's not validated or verified. And if you go based off of information that's already wrong, then all your answers are going to automatically be wrong by default. And that's what basically happened here. Thanks for the 10, Kenny. Steve is like a fart in a skillet all over the damn place. He is everywhere. He is everywhere. And that's what I'm saying. Like, he is making a damn fool of himself. And his wife is not helping the situation. She's not stopping him. She's not telling him anything. Like, he is openly threatening Kohberger's life. He's threatening Thompson. He is saying all kinds of stuff. But look, they can't get behind him. I mean, they can't ignore the fact that he said that an Alford plea was the first thing that came out. An Alford plea? I'm sorry, sir. That contains a lot. That contains a lot. I just hope it's true because it says a lot. And it would make sense that that would be the way that they would want to go if they were going to go that way. And whatever the state countered with, I guess, took the Alford situation away because look what Steve just said. He made sure that that didn't happen. They rallied to make sure that that didn't happen. I'm sure you did, Steve.
I think you should have required him to say, tell me in your own words what you did. Make that plea bulletproof and take any doubt. So anybody, all these pro Kohberger.
That's not what happened. You did not make this plea bulletproof. Why are you lying? See, he's a horrible, he should not be a true crime if he's not going to even know the details of stuff to even make the right comments because he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's clear.
You should have required him to say, tell me in your own words what you did. Make that plea bulletproof and take away any doubt. So anybody, all these pro Kohbergers can say, oh, he didn't do it. No, you heard it from his own mouth. You heard him from his mouth when he said guilty. It was over.
I told him, I don't want to defend your case for the rest of my life. And that's what you'll do to all these families. We'll have to defend this because you'll move on and retire and we'll be stuck with this shit for the rest of our lives. And that's exactly what he did. Yeah. So now I will take every shot at.
That is exactly what he did. So why are y'all not suing Idaho? Why are y'all doing what everything you can to get millions of dollars from WSU, but you're not complaining about WSU? Everything that you've been bitching about this whole time is with Idaho. So why are you not doing anything to Idaho? Move the hell out of Idaho and sue the shit out of Idaho. Like, what's the problem? A lot of this for nothing. Just for what?
All these families. We'll have to defend this because you'll move on and retire and we'll be stuck with this shit for the rest of our lives. And that's exactly what he did. Yeah. So now I will take every shot at him because he earned it. He had a right to do whatever he wanted to do. And now he just lives with his decisions.
Hitler didn't have to accept it. Hitler could have said, as everybody was there on live TV, no. This is not happening. Sorry. You pled your case. You told me what you wanted to do. You answered your little questions. You told me what you wanted to say. Overall, I get to say what's going on here, and I am denying this plea agreement. He could have. But he wasn't put there to do that, was he? He wasn't.
he's that's what he's doing right now.
Well,
I understand. Well,
can't go back. There's no changing it.
thank
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
for taking the time to
Thank
talk
you.
to
Yeah.
us. Seriously,
I was like, Steve, who is that? We know him. Who is that guy? And he's like, oh, he's the lawyer. I'm like, yes, that's who it is.
well, thanks for taking the time. Seriously, we'll put this up. Hopefully, people will.
Thanks for the $4.99 sparkly fish. They should have used Google Satellite, but bet they really don't want to know where Brian K. really was. What do you think, Jules? I think they know exactly where he was. There's a reason why they removed information regarding the white car that they followed out of Pullman out and tried to start SV1 literally already in Moscow, taking away any journey or any actual trackable path from Pullman into Moscow because it wasn't Kohberger's car. They followed the wrong vehicle. They had to admit that. They had to take the stuff out of there. And then the vehicle coming in, it's coming in the direction that Kohberger said that he went. Nothing. They know that he was where he said he was. That's why they haven't produced the information. And granted, I could be changing everything that I have to say if the actual analytical reports come out and claim the actual data proves that the phone was turned off, then maybe it'll be different. But even people that work for mainstream have driven out in the direction that Kohberger said he was that night and have had to turn back around and go back towards Pullman to join their broadcast at the main station because they had no service. We've had people from YouTube drive out there, locals in that area. The phone loses service. The report could come out. They talk about the report and how we argue it. That's because no one's proving anything. I even specifically, again, asked Celebrite after they gave me the Google Drive with all the selfies and the bullshit. I asked them specifically twice and never got a response either time. I've showed them to you guys. If there was anything else besides selfies that they could give out. They could have just said, no, that's all we were allowed to release, but instead they just chose not to answer the question. I don't care about these damn selfies. I want to see the reports that you apparently did. I want to see what the things were that you gave to the courtroom. Now things are getting unsealed, so hopefully we'll see something soon, but we haven't seen anything to prove anything when it comes to Celebrate. Their own words at that conference. I'll go find the link for that here too in case you missed that one. They even said they looked and looked and looked and looked and looked. They even brought a whole nother guy in. I don't remember his name. It starts with a J. I think he was in the audience. Brought this whole other person in to do a whole bunch of other things. They looked and looked and looked and looked and looked. Couldn't find anything. So I don't know what Steve's talking about. Shadow Ghost wants 10K, but these people over here did it for free, and both people are saying the same thing. Shadow Ghost is lying, saying that he has all these connections he won't give you, probably because they don't freaking exist. And the people that were the experts are saying that there's nothing there. What do you mean? There's a lot. There's just a lot here. Like, this is so wild. This is so crazy. It's almost over.
Understand, like I said, I couldn't imagine losing a child. And so, my heart just goes out to you. And, I understand the process is slow. It sucks.
But the worst victims of all time.
But the truth, it takes some time, but the truth, or a pretty darn close version, is going to come out. When he said guilty, he admitted to it.
Yeah.
And so all the people say, oh, he pled guilty. People don't plead guilty to that unless they did it.
This is a horrible attorney.
and
What
wait
you appeal for with
What a
DNA.
horrible attorney.
You might as well appeal every case in the whole fucking system then.
There's nothing to appeal.
We go broke. I could challenge you that my DNA was at the crime scene and matched me at 5.37 octillion. I still got a case. No, you don't. Because that opens everything up. You gotta have common sense.
I said, as soon as the DNA came out, I was like, it's done.
Sense.
It's over. It's over.
No, you did.
I really.
You're like, well, we got something to talk about today.
There was never anything bombshell when it comes to the DNA because it was in the probable cause. We knew about it from the very beginning. This dude is such a pick-me. This is crazy.
You gotta have common sense.
I said, as soon as the DNA came out, I was like, done.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah,
It's
that
over.
guy.
No, you did.
I really.
You're like, well, we got something to talk about today.
The other guy's a YouTuber.
We knew.
Isn't there a Shadow Ghost YouTuber that talks about Idaho? You are right. It's Shadow Dragon, though. Shadow Dragon is the program that was used.
It was. I said it was coming, man.
No.
I said they were. I literally said when the DNA came back, I said, I guarantee you, those defense attorneys are over there talking to the DA about a deal. You can go back and look at the videos.
Yeah,
I
Shadow
said
Ghost is the YouTuber.
because that's what I
Yeah,
do for a
he's good.
living. And so at a certain point, you're like, okay,
Shadow Dragon is the program.
what can we do?
Yeah.
And sure enough, it came.
The most you can do it.
That's the goal of all death. I've only done one death penalty case, and they
Are you
actually
late? I
didn't
just
go
said
death. and we still went to trial and we lost. But that's the goal of death penalty litigation, is to no death.
Yes.
And so they think we won.
Yeah.
Because he's still around.
She made $2 million off the case. She won. She did.
I've never made $2 million off a.
And Taylor? Like actually pocketed $2 million? Is
No
that
doubt.
what he said?
Yes.
And so they think we won.
Yeah.
Because he's still around.
She made $2 million off the case. She won. She did.
I've never made $2 million off a single murder case. Usually I had to sue a client. I walked on a murder case. I had to sue him to get paid my final bill. Said I prepared too much.
She was making $200 an hour on her expert, her legal counsel. It's like 180. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, we did see
Idaho's
that.
got to get more capital case attorneys.
Yeah.
We just don't have enough. Yeah. So she had to come out. Everything was overtime. She had to leave her community, which is where we live, Kootenai, go down there and represent him. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for taking the time. Sorry for your loss, but you guys are making a difference. So
Thank you. You
have
too.
a good day.
I like your channel.
Oof. Oof. That was so bad. Guys. Holy shit. Holy shit. So he said he knows that somebody's going to handle Kohberger. Then he says that Gin Pop's going to pop, meaning something's going to happen to Kohberger then too. Then he threatened that if he finds out that somebody writes a book that he's going to go after Bill Thompson. Then he said there was an Alfred plea that was originally asked for, but they rallied together to make sure that that didn't happen. And the Alfred plea means that you are admitting that the evidence looks strong against you, but that you are still stating that you are innocent. And then he said that Kaylee was actually their adopted daughter and all kind of crazy stuff. This was wild. This was a lot more than I thought there was going to be. Holy shit. My gosh. That was a lot. Yeah, he's apparently someone that they watch a lot. He's apparently someone that they watch all the time. Because her little performance at the beginning was, no, I just don't want to watch him tonight, because he plays devil's advocate and I don't like that, blah, blah, blah. Girl, do you even know what your man was freaking saying as you were over there mingling, ma'am? Oh my God. He needed a babysitter. He needed a babysitter. Where is CrimeCon this year? Where is CrimeCon in 2026? In Vegas? Oh yeah, they're lit. It's 11/11 in Texas. They are lit. It's in Vegas. Oh, they're lit. Gin Pop is gonna pop in some wild shit to say. Like what? Bro. Oh man. If it ever comes to Texas, I might go just literally in a disguise just to walk around and just see what's happening. We'll see. Now that I said that, they'll be watching for me. Oh my God. Yeah, you have to zoom in. We tried to get into it earlier today and it's asking for a password. So we're going to see if that changes tomorrow. Yeah, so we were going to do it. We were going to do it the way that I do like reviews of like the Amazon series or like Dateline, where like y'all are just listening to y'all are listening to it on your own. I'm listening to it on my own, but the mic's open and we're live and we're in chat and we're discussing it as we're listening to it. But I tried to get on it because I want to do it. I'm going to listen to it on my laptop so that it's not on this computer. And it wasn't like it was recognizing the ID, but then it would ask for a password. And when I put in the other little number that was on there, it's not the password, obviously. So it wasn't working. So we'll see. It was. It was. No, Kaylee was not adopted. He's just like talking all over the damn place. Oh, man. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna clip a couple of things, but I usually go in and just like take a few minute clips and post them over on TikTok because I'm trying to get more traffic over here. But I don't really want to waste time making new TikTok videos because I already do enough here. So I'm just little things that way. But yeah, no, we're gonna definitely talk more about the things that he has said here. Loose lips sink ships, baby. Should not be drinking like that in front of the camera. And again, he might not be drunk. It's my opinion that he is intoxicated. That's my opinion, Steve. Wow. Okay, you guys. Y'all have a great night. I will be live tomorrow. I think I said 10:45 in the morning so that we can try to figure out what's going on. And I'll try to call and see if there's a password. We'll see if there's a password because it says public access. So we'll see how all that goes down, and we'll take some time to go over some of the documents before the hearing starts. It's at 10 a.m. their time. And when I looked at the address to that actual courthouse in Washington, they're 2 hours different than me, so the same as Moscow. So it'll be noon here that the hearing would actually start playing. So we're going to go live at 10:45 to just kind of go over some of the documents, but there's really nothing special in the documents. It's just more of the stuff that they're like agreeing to, but it also gives you a like an indication that there's definitely going to be stuff from the Idaho crime in way of discovery coming in on this one, while they're also asking for that protective order. So I wonder if the autopsies and stuff like that get submitted, if they'll be put under seal. Like if they get crossed over because they need to submit them, they're labeled in there as pieces that can be sent over to this WSU case. So I wonder if they do, since there's no PO, if we're going to actually finally be able to see the autopsy reports, or if they'll file them under seal because of what they are. This is a whole new set of rules. I mean, Idaho didn't really keep to any of the rules, and the rules kept changing, but everything happening over here is completely different because it's Washington now. One can only guess. One can literally only guess. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. Thank you so much for being in here with me last minute for the last minute change. I'm sorry you guys chased me for a few minutes. Thank you again for the gifted memberships. I very much appreciate that, especially to those who joined on their own. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you also for the super stickers and the super thanks and the super chats. And again, all of my members and you guys that were in here for the last 2.5 hours just watching this crazy stuff. But damn, did he say some interesting things, did he not? Lots of things to think about. And again, this Alford plea thing, if true, these guilters cannot try to make a play with it because it's coming from their leader. And you know they're not going to go against their leader, especially the little TikTok ones. So let's just see how they try to spin this. It'll be interesting. But you guys have a super, super great night. I will see you guys tomorrow. See y'all. If you like the way that I present this information and give my opinion, please don't forget to leave a like on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already. And please don't forget to make sure that the notification bell is set to all so you don't miss any of my rants, reviews, reactions, updates, or deep dives.